Streaming live from the beautiful city of Hollywood, Florida, USA. This is SoFloRadio.com.
SoFloRadio.com. We take comedy seriously. SoFloRadio.com.
Michael Rennie was ill the day the earth stood still, but he told us where we stand. And Flash Gordon was there in silver underwear. Claude Rains was the invisible man. Then something went wrong for Fay Ray and King Kong. They got caught in a cellular jam. Then at a deadly pace, it came from outer space. And this is how the message ran. Science fiction, double feature. Dr. X will build a creature. See androids fighting. Brad and Janet and Francis stars in Forbidden Planet. At the late night double feature picture show. I knew Leo G. Carroll was over a barrel when Tarantula took to the hills. And I really got hot when I saw Jeanette Scott fight a trivet that spits poison and kills. Dana Andrews said prunes gave him the rooms, and passing them used lots of skills. But when worlds collide, said George Powell to his bride, I'm gonna give you some terrible thrills, like a science fiction double feature. Dr. X.
I really like how it came off the second time too, Jak. We're going to actually sloppy leave it in the background a little bit there, so we have some mood thing. Do the old slow fade, so we don't notice it fading out. It's like, what's this all about? Jak's dressed goofier than usual, and I'm actually looking like I put forth some effort. Florencia is here. Turn around and say hi to the camera, Florencia. Florencia is sitting in on a show for producer training for the new show. It's called, is her mic on even? It's called, and I don't have my notes over here. What's the show?
It's called Heart Play Radio.
Heart Play.
Oh, not radio,
Excellent.
Heart Play.
Heart Play. And you and Josh?
Myself and Josh are working on this. It's going to be
That's fun.
Adventure.
Yeah, it's already an adventure.
Definite adventure.
It's going to be, so this is your baptism with fire, because tonight, and we're pre-recording the show tonight because Jak has a day job. I went and had the nerve to go get a day job, and I just can't do the show without Jak, because the controls are way over there, and I can't reach them. I really believe in the whole role, the whole producer host thing, and I'm really impressed by the people that like to do both at the same time, but not me. I like to be over here. So it's a special edition of the Rocky Horhay. What do you think about that one, Jak? The Rocky Horhay picture show edition of the George Rodriguez show. And in a little bit, we're going to have Erynn and Dominick from the Abyss Theater showing up, and they're going to have their way with us. We're going to get debauched. They're actually loading up on some alcohol right now to get into the mood, and I brought some so that we could catch up with them. a little bit, and plus the fruit platter and stuff. And Florencia doesn't know anything about the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
So this is going to be a definite.
It's going to be interesting, and
baptism.
Right? And we're going to be spending an appropriate amount of material on it when the two guests get here, including I might get transformed. Because that's one of the things that happens in the movie is the
transformations.
There are transformations, right? There are transformations, and I'll save the explaining of the whole thing. We'll probably go over it. We'll kill a couple hours Rocky horroring it up, and and maybe spontaneously break out into song or two or something like that. Yeah, I don't want to hear the music now though, because I want to talk to you about some serious issues like the Anthony Bourdain's. That you finally saw a little bit of. I recommend. I'll download the whole thing if you have a means to watch it, Jack. I know that you don't have. Do you have electricity yet? Or are we supposed to talk about that?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, because you can. But because I'm not judging over here because I'm working towards homelessness. This is my dream. People ask me.
Toward being
my goal.
homeless?
I'm working towards being homeless quite
Okay.
intentionally. I've been trying to get rid of stuff. I mean, life already came and got rid of a lot of my stuff for me.
Well, that's a good thing.
Called divorce.
Maybe.
But by the way, look at divorce guy. But then, if you have stuff, then you can lose the stuff. So if you just get rid of the stuff, then you got nothing to lose. You can walk around in a backpack and be totally, absolutely free. So I'm working towards that and not being dependent on things like electricity and the internet. I want to be kind of like
so off the grid
Amish
type of thing.
Yeah, which is very frowned upon. And you see people are getting the latest story that I just posted on Facebook. The guy, he said that he'll be arrested for trespassing if he enters his own property.
Oh, wow.
Because he's off the grid, because he's got solar panels and is collecting his own rainwater.
That's crazy.
So this is supposed to be a Brad wig. I don't have any hair anymore. And I got this wig. Let me show you what this is supposed to look like. This is what I bought. Okay, now what I'm wearing on my head,
not very well representing what you bought.
Anywhere near this, on my head.
It looks like you need a comb.
And anywhere near on my head.
No.
So it does look like I need a comb. So meanwhile, back to Jack and the fact that he does have electricity.
Yes.
The
job will help that.
Right. No, that's good. I encourage you to watch Anthony Bourdain's what's it called? Parts Unknown. I've seen him here and there.
Netflix.
I've seen him here and there. The Kitchen Confidential and No Reservations. But I never really watched this show, and I'm not into either food shows or travel shows per se. But I liked him.
Why is that?
I liked his candor, just because it feels like vicarious living. And I don't know what you're doing over there. Besides,
I'm producing. Go ahead. I want to get.
That's the video editor. That's the video editor over there.
I'm trying to find the nigga.
Oh my God! No, we
There
don't
we
need
go.
to.
I found
We
it.
don't need.
Yeah.
And what do you do? You're gonna edit that clip to drop it in. You're gonna drop that in later.
Exactly.
We can put that in post production. How's that?
Yeah.
I'll compensate for you.
Okay.
I'll tip you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry that I was
Thank you,
I
sir.
was astonished by that. But the reason the Mississippi thing and the Bronx thing because of the history of hip hop, because that's where it was born.
Right.
And they do. I really like who he interviews. He interviews all of the right people, Anthony Bourdain's, when he goes to these places.
Wow.
And the whole thing about travel log shows is just, it makes me want to, because Florencia, I'm sure you've traveled a lot.
I
just
have,
based on your
and
accent.
it's nice.
But
With a name like that, I would hope you.
I'm not a vicarious life living kind of person. When I see other people having a good time and I'm not, it doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel left out. So
Yeah.
I don't want to watch people eat, and I don't want to, that
Travel,
looks really good what they're eating right there, and I can never have
throws
any.
shade. He throws major shade.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I don't want to watch, like, oh, that's a beautiful place, but I'm looking at it on TV, and now I want to go there.
I can't get there.
I can't wait for the transformation today, because, man, my hair.
That hair is bothering you an awful lot.
Well, I got rid of I thought these days were behind me, of my hair bothering me.
We need to get some clips on that hair.
That will work. Usually I have a hair tie in my man bag. I have daughters. So you have
You
to
have daughters, you need to
carry
have
these
man
things
bags,
around,
of
emergency things for my daughters that I have to carry around all the time.
I have sons, but I still carry
But
that
the
because I'm a woman.
there you go.
Yeah.
But the Mississippi thing,
Right.
was especially like what he says in the beginning when he talks about all of the music genres that were born there, because really there's nowhere else in the world, and all these genres like jazz, rock and roll, and blues and everything all originated in one state. And it's he says a lot of things like that periodically through the show that make you go, oh, that's very interesting. And look at them now. Well, and look at them now, which is one of the cases, because then subsequently I watched that show, and I said I want to talk about the show. It's really interesting, and I want Jack to see it so that we can talk about all of these things, because this ought to be a source of pride for Americans, is that all of these genres were born in America, and certainly the credit goes to
Elvis.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
America.
The king.
Yeah.
The king. Do we want to pour a 40 out for Prince? Never stole a freight train. Did a lot for charity. 5'2", played amazing basketball.
Yeah.
Prince.
You can look up to him.
I am now, because
you were taller than him.
He's in Prince heaven. I am. I'm 5'6". In the
and
morning.
He was 5'2"?
I'm 5'6" in the morning before gravity has compressed my spine. I'm sticking to that.
Right.
I'm closer to 5'6" than 5 3/4. So
what are your actual thoughts on that? Because
on the Prince thing, he was addicted to the pain pills. It was oxys. They found the oxys and the
did find it.
Yeah.
So they say.
Alas,
so
I don't believe that he was
I heard
murdered.
that he didn't have a will, and now
He did not
now
have a
it's
will.
a big fight
Now they're
between
gonna
all
fight.
the
Yeah, it's up in the air.
step siblings.
Yep. Not involved. Sorry. Good luck to you people grubbing over money.
Yeah.
By the way, the Transylvanian outfit looks pretty good on you. You already have the hair. You saw the pictures of the Transylvanians for the party. I think
every time you say that,
Erynn and Dominick,
it always feels like it's going to
Erynn and
lead to
Dominick
another
are
thing.
going to be very impressed. So I thought, because there's a lot of racial stuff going on right now, dialogue,
Really?
I should say, in the media with the Black Lives Matter and
You
the
don't
protests,
say.
and a Klansman running for president,
Bring America back.
and everything. So
Make America great again.
And I'm not, because it goes like this. The racial discussion goes like this. Oh, here we go talking about race again. I thought we were done talking about race again. And then the rest of us go, well, we would be if you would just stop being racist. Remember the last time that we talked about racism and you were still racist?
No.
You were supposed to be stopping then.
I don't
so that we
recall.
don't have to I would like to stop talking about it, but you people won't stop being racist, and so here we are having to talk about it again. And those people that I'm talking about right now keep pointing at the black people, saying, "When are y'all going to shut up about the racism already?" And they and the rest of us who aren't blind to what's going on say, as soon as you stop burning crosses and wearing your sheets and stop the institutionalized discrimination and address the justice system that likes to disproportionately incarcerate black men
and still lynching black dudes
and
in 2016
and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so the discussion that I have with bigots as I encounter them is, a lot of what you are proud of as an American came from the black people. How can you, if for no other reason, all right?
What do you mean?
If for no other reason, just the music, just rock and roll, just soul and blues and disco. If the black man contributed nothing else, isn't that enough to give you to get you to give them some slack? And because here it is, because you know this, because you're very up to date on things that are going on. You understand that, like, in the 70s, I would be at people's houses and I would go through their record collection. Here I am overhearing them in the other room talking shit, using the N-word, and I'm going through the record collection, and every single Motown record is in there.
There's a nigga.
That's
look
great.
here, George. I don't listen to that nigger music. I listen to Waylon Jennings.
No, but they
George
do.
Jones.
But they do, the same people, and at the dinner table casually throwing it around. I'm like, you've got Aretha Franklin records.
And Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
The God himself.
So I don't understand that. But then I was already ready to talk about that with you, and then I saw the thing on Facebook, and it brought something else up that I run into it, and I wasn't believing that it's an actual thing, and then you posted the thing with the dreadlocks. Wasn't that you that posted the thing with the dreadlocks? Wasn't that you?
Post a lot.
There was a video, and I think it's fake. It looked really
Oh,
fake
yeah,
to me.
yeah.
Of
that
the
one.
black girl giving the white dude
A whole bunch of shit
a bunch of shit for
right.
because he's got the white
They're
boy dreadlocks.
They're
Right.
giving Justin Bieber shit for having dreadlocks.
Well, they
Right.
should give Justin Bieber shit for breathing.
just for
Well,
being
yes,
Justin
that's
Bieber.
beside
Did you see the
point.
picture of him getting choked in the club? People said it looks like
Yeah.
a Renaissance painting. Can I get that on like a 6x8? I want that in my living room.
Yeah, there's an app that can make it Warhol-like, so you can put it up there on the wall.
So it reminded me because I heard that before, and not out of the mouths necessarily exclusively of people of color. Cultural appropriation and I thought cultural appropriation. Are they talking about homage? Are they talking about tribute? Are they talking about being culturally influenced by other cultures? Because that's what makes America what it is. What would an American be if it weren't for a quilt work of all these different cultures,
Right.
and the language that we use and the slang that we use here in South Florida? I hear Anglos using Spanishisms all the time,
Spanglish.
and it makes me
Yeah.
giggle to myself. They use
Yeah.
they say, "Can I have a gum?" instead of "May I have some gum," which is how the Americans say it.
Can I have a cappuccino,
Can I have
please?
a gum? Or
Cortadito?
I hear Americans say,
Cortadito?
I
Yeah.
cute, or does that bring French fries? And like, did you say that? Because instead, they order a burger and they go, does that bring French fries? Because that's a Spanish thing. It's like, does that come with French fries? Is what an American would say.
Right.
But I hear,
Well, or the famous "Te llamo pa atrás" with "I'll
Yeah.
call you back." It comes from there.
Well, I think that's just.
so
a
have you heard
matter
that?
of-
That's my question for the resident. Jak is the black eye
Yeah.
on the
Black
show.
eye.
He
Very
gives us
good.
the
Black
black
eye.
perspective.
That
He's the
perspective.
when you say it fast, he's the black guy on the show.
Yeah.
Get it?
There
Get
you
it?
go.
I get
We
it.
got racial humor on
It
this.
sounds good.
But I'm the resident spick, so I get to And although if you want to, you can be on your show. See, we're just tokens. On my show, we have nothing but tokens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing but tokens.
Perfect. I
We
will
also
be the spick too.
We also
because I
represent
am.
the island people.
Yeah,
And-
we're all covered here.
What do you get? What do you call a Cuban with a vasectomy? Dry Martinez.
Oh.
See? Where's the comedy drum? I need the comedy drum. It's funnier with the
with the actual drum?
with the drum. Yeah, and it's a nice prop. Thank you. Florencia will be our butler today. She's going to butt for us.
I will butt.
It's still not. It's too late for that now. So is that something that you hear? Is that a real thing? First of all, do you think is that a real video?
I think it is.
You think it is?
Yeah.
So that's a real thing.
Yeah,
So
so-
all of a sudden, there are people that feel that certain things are off limit because they were invented by the group that they put themselves in.
Yeah, I've had like a slight reaction to it.
Okay.
Because Vikings had this. They had this as well.
If we want to play the cultural appropriation game, everybody copied the cavemen. All right, everybody
It's gonna
copied the
go-
Neanderthal.
it's gonna go way
It was
back.
back and forth. The Viking, because he said the Egyptians, and you're not an Egyptian. Are you an Egyptian? It's like, oh, I gotta get an Egyptian license now, because the Egyptians also shaved their heads and wore wigs.
Right.
See,
Just
So
like
you're there. You are.
by the way, you know why? Because lice,
Oh, is that why?
head lice. That's what they lived in. It was hot.
Yeah.
They didn't have Quell shampoo or anything like that, so they body hair.
well,
Wow.
like the discussion we had off
This
air.
I learned today.
You learn a lot on
That
this
you
show.
know,
Just
you learn
wait,
a lot.
just wait, baby.
Wait in a couple hours.
Is your husband watching? He might wanna.
He may.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
think I will text him.
so
Right.
So the Vikings did that. Anything that you can think of, somebody else did it.
But
you know?
it's like the conversation we had off air prior to the show. When you're having racial discussions, especially if you're a person of color, to automatically jump off and point at Whitey, you shouldn't be doing that, this, that, and the third. You're no different than the bigoted dickheads that try to, white is right. Did you see the one where
Yeah.
the kid, there was this little black kid. He was going to Trump rallies. He was a Bernie supporter.
Yeah,
And he
the
was
free
giving
hugs
out
guy.
free hugs. And these are grown men and women saying, white is better, but black is cool. And
If you're not for Trump, I'll hit you. Anybody with a drawl. See, I have a prejudice, and anybody with a Southern accent, I automatically believe that they're an inbred bigot.
there's one guy, he had to have been north of 100. And the guy was like, free hugs? And I know he heard him, but he was trying to ask, like, I don't want any drugs.
I don't want any drag.
I don't want drugs. I'm like,
No,
really?
exactly.
And it's that, is that childish approach that will always, set us apart as far as the discussion is had, because that's one side. The other side are the people, black people who have felt down all these years. And, to clarify a little bit more what George was saying, it's more of an apathy thing. When you're speaking about, certain facts and things of our history, like he said, all these things come from America. Not to toot a horn or anything like that, but yeah, some of them are from black people.
We're all here.
Right. And you have a situation where, in the black situation, you'll be talking about this and you get the eye roll from white people. Oh, God. Do we have to talk about race again? Get over it already. It was years ago. I had nothing to do with that. But you're benefiting from it.
Yes.
You're benefiting from it. So, that's the part that gets annoying, because anybody, even as a woman, if you're sitting here talking about women's rights and somebody's like, oh God, go in the kitchen or something, you're going to want to kick their ass.
Of course.
Because it's like, I'm trying to make a point here and you're ignoring it and brushing it under the table. And that's very childish if we're trying to set a dialogue of some kind for progression. So that's where I look at it.
But it got me thinking, the whole cultural appropriation thing. It's like, wow, what's that? Cultural appropriation? Thinking?
Yeah.
When I'm on the toilet.
Okay.
Because after I check my email, then
do you check the email in the toilet, or
you know
do
it?
Just
you know it. As a matter of fact,
that's a lot going on.
If you get a text or an email from me,
multitasking,
it's
totally.
1 in 5 chance that I'm on the toilet
thinking.
Although there's a very short list of people that I will speak to when I'm on the toilet.
Yeah, nobody really wants to hear you grunting and
Nope.
Yeah.
You might not want to.
I don't want to.
No, I know you don't want to, but I'm not leaving it up to you.
Okay.
See, it's gonna be random.
Yeah.
You'll never know. You'll be
Just
sitting there,
drop a
you'll be
bomb on
talking,
it. Unless you flush
you'll
the
be
toilet.
talking and like, what was that? And I'll be, what was that? And I go, just like, I'm doing the dishes. That's all. That's all.
The conversation starts off as,
I dropped a cup into the sink. That's what you heard.
I've got a great idea for the show.
Culture. So it got me. So I run it. By the way, before I get all outraged about something, I run it through my own checks and balances. I'm Cuban, so I'm thinking, one of my gringo coworkers comes to work wearing a guayabera. What's going to be my reaction?
Really?
No, I'm not going to be offended. I'm not going to act like he's wearing blackface or nothing. I'm going to say, really, Bill, guayabera? And I would expect Bill to say, dude, pockets top and bottom. Why didn't you tell me about these sooner? Very handy shirt. That's what I would expect Bill to say. I don't expect that Bill is going to go to work wearing a guayabera because he wants to make fun of Cuban people. I don't think that the dreadlock guy in that video was trying to mock anyone. I think that he dug the look, or he wouldn't have made his hair that way.
Genuinely,
right. And I think that if
unlike Bieber,
if somebody is copying your style, that's what they say. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Right.
So if someone is copying your style, can you think of an occasion when a black person said to a white person, "Yo, pull your pants up. Stop trying to be like me"? Can you conceive of that? Can you imagine that? Like if you're hanging with your friends and one of your friends said that to somebody, you'd say, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, Jim?"
No,
what do you
see,
really?
See, that's the thing that
I had one of those combs with the handle on it.
With
of course, I had long,
yeah.
luxurious hair.
Yeah.
It wasn't an Afro pick,
Uh-huh.
but it was the comb with the handle.
Okay.
So still, that you would see stuck into afros all
Right.
the time. There were two kinds. It was either the Afro pick or the comb with the handle.
Right.
And I had a comb with the handle because I had thick, luxurious locks, and I used the fuck out of that comb, I want to tell you. All right? I came by it honest. I needed that comb. That's the comb that worked on my hair.
Right.
And the handle sticking out, quick draw McGraw convenience. I could go from windblown to salon coiffed in 10 seconds flat, thanks to that handle. Not
you
to
need
mention
that comb now for that.
not to mention I need some relaxer. I need some hairspray.
You got a lot going on up there.
Woo, the good news is I'm just minutes away from transforming.
All right.
We're gonna have a transformation process.
Teaser.
So if somebody comes to work wearing a guayabera, I'm not going to think that they're trying to make fun of Cubans, and all of the other things that I can think of. Cultural appropriation. If you wanted to play that game, you could give white people shit all day long. Don't use this word. Don't use that word. Don't talk like that. Don't walk like that.
Everything is so
I mean,
mixed now.
who invented shaving heads?
I'll
Hey,
give you-
stop trying to appropriate Professor Charles Xavier's culture. From the X-Men.
There are some instances because it's a fine line to walk, right?
Is it? I mean,
I'll give you an example. I had an incident recently. I had a delivery, cool white guy, right? And we were just kicking it, just talking.
what's a cool white guy? Gave you drugs?
No.
Okay.
I could do drugs if I wanted to, if I did that. But, we were just talking, and he was like, hey, yeah. Man, nigga, you crazy.
Oh, my God.
And
You're not allowed to say that, man.
and I'm like, exactly. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like,
I didn't give you license.
I'm on the clock. So I'm
Right.
thinking like,
So you gotta, like
You
the
know,
guy, like the guy said in the video, you gotta smile.
yeah, you got to smile. Yeah, you'll see a clip in a second.
Yeah.
Now. But no, it was like one of those Dave Chappelle moments. If you watch Dave Chappelle, when keeping it real goes wrong, and there's a situation where one of his white bosses says something to him like, "Yeah, that's pretty good, boy," or something along the lines of that, and he kind of just pauses like, "What should I cuss his ass out? What do I do?" type of thing. You know what I mean? Because you're a black person in a controlled area. You don't just pop off and curse a motherfucker out.
Now, would he have said that kind of as a way of maybe
Yeah, it was a term. It was,
or not in a
he wasn't
derogatory way.
He wasn't born or raised in Libby, Montana. He
Right.
obviously was raised around black people. So I understood how he said it. It wasn't nigger.
Right.
He said nigger. But
Yeah, but
what I'm from is like, you're not supposed to say that to me.
Right.
And I sat on it for a couple days a day, because I was going to see him again. And I pulled him aside, and nothing hostile or anything that nature. Said, "Look, where I'm from, you can't say that to me."
Call me that again, I'm gonna cut you. You didn't say that?
No,
Because,
I didn't have to go that far because, like I said, he's cool.
that might be what he expects.
And it wasn't. It could have been something that, look, I don't want you talking to me ever. But I let him know, like, look, it's not that serious as far as me not being able to talk to you anymore. But you just can't say that to me, because there's a lot that's behind that. No matter how cool you are as a white person, or because he's white, he's not Hispanic,
Right.
you can't say that, because I'll be around someone else that doesn't, that hasn't been around different people like me, and they hear you say that, and they want to kick your ass. They're not gonna have that filter like I had, so it's just best that you don't say that.
I have a friend that her name is
Nigger?
I mean no
Niggerita?
she's from Argentina, but we call her negra. If she
Black,
has dark hair and
Right.
and it's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
So when she comes to visit, sometimes I have to be careful.
It's different because it just means black. Because
It means black, but when we were growing
Right.
up, I used to call her Blackie.
Yeah,
because
sure.
and when she comes to visit here, sometimes and we were somewhere, and it comes out of me. I'm like, "Hey, Blackie," and then I feel like
Cubans get in trouble because it's in Spanish, blanco, negro, mulatto. You just
Right.
that's how you would describe someone to someone. I'm meeting someone. What do they look like? Hey, at the restaurant, you call the restaurant. I need to get a message to someone. What do they look like? It's un negro con una camisa azul.
Yeah.
A black guy with a blue shirt.
Right.
Like that, una negra, pero tiene una camisa azul, y that's, and it's nothing like you would say white person. You would say mulatto, meaning that like someone mixed,
Right?
Because that's the thing. And the snack cake. As a matter of fact, I was going to ask you if you would like a Negro for dessert.
Negro. For
They
dessert.
sell them downstairs. Did you know?
oh, I saw you coming in with a Negros.
With a bag of Negros.
A bag of Negroes.
Yeah.
Guess where that's from?
Argentina.
Yes.
These are really delicious.
They're
If you've never had one,
Negroes are awesome.
I highly recommend them. And you can take one home for later.
You need a Negro in your life.
But by the way, they're expensive downstairs because they come all the way from Argentina. But they're individually wrapped. Here you go.
Awesome.
If you would like to enjoy your Negro later,
Now, I'm actually going to save this as a prop for my show now.
right?
Negro, and it has peanuts.
Well,
Mama, we made it.
usually they do.
Yeah.
Big ones I heard.
Nuts.
Negroes are nuts. They are nuts. Yeah, very nuts.
It's a complicated dessert. It's got layers. It's got layers of flavor.
Oh,
It's
man,
got-
I've got a
it's
layer
got-
of flavor for you.
It's got some. It's got nougat.
Did you? Nougats and the Negro. Did you see my post earlier this week? I mean, today.
When I see all your posts.
Well, there's one where about a guest that I had on here Had the block burger, a mixture of Krispy Kreme donuts and.
Oh, that sounds. What are you trying to do?
Kill you?
Yeah. Yeah, kill me.
Yeah.
Although.
But you're never available when I have food on my show.
Oh no!
You're always.
You need to tell me ahead of time.
It was a hamburger with Krispy
You
Kreme
need to tell me
as the
ahead of
buns?
time when
Yeah.
you're having a food guest in. I'll
Oh,
come in and I'll be the butler.
I'll try to see
Anthony
if I can.
Bourdain.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, now he doesn't have to live through them. He could live through it himself. But
Seriously, have you ever seen this show, World Traveler?
I have, yes.
Parts Unknown. You've seen
I
the part-
have, yes.
Isn't it like it's very interesting because he allows himself to
he immerses himself into.
he has the kind of adventure that you might be afraid to have and eat that kind of crazy stuff
yeah.
like
Yeah.
when he's eating the pig brains and the blood and everything like
Yeah,
I don't want to eat it but I want to I want him to tell me
everywhere.
Yeah, he's
everything
hardcore.
that you wouldn't even imagine.
bugs, all
Yeah.
that. Like
he's no what's the guy with the testicles
He's no pussy. transvestite.
No, I can't think. He's got the food truck over here on Mondays. The shaved-headed guy that always eats the bull testicles.
Oh,
He's also on he's got a food show.
Oh, I definitely don't want to know him.
Zimmern. It'll come to me. Anthony Zimmern. Anthony Zimmern. His show is all about he travels somewhere and eats the most ridiculously gross thing that you'll ever imagine. And for some reason, just every time I tune in, he's eating some different kind of testicles or another. They must be the best thing in the world to him because he loves those things. I can't wait.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, I'll pass.
I'd rather just watch it.
Can't wait
Me
for the
neither.
transformation.
I'd rather not.
But he doesn't just go around the world. He comes to America and does different things like the Bronx, where he interviews. And
I thought
was
you were
really,
still talking
I
about
was
the
very-
testicle guy.
No, I'm talking about Anthony Bourdain because he interviewed Africa Bambaataa.
Yes.
You mentioned him, and
Here's an Easter egg for you.
okay.
Africa Bambaataa has recently been accused of pedophilia for the last 30 years. Yeah. It was funny that once you sent me that link, this has been going on for the last 2 weeks now as far as the compiling. Africa Bambaataa, he is the founder of hip hop. Well, one of the founding fathers.
He interviews
Okay.
DJ Kool Herc is credited for inventing it,
Right.
And then MC Mel.
Melly Mel.
And MC Melly Mel, who also is credited for the invention of playing breaks and originating break beats and break dancing.
Right.
Okay.
With MC Melly Mel.
Right.
And it's all out of the Bronx. And then Africa Bambaataa is credited for ripping off Kraftwerk. And in this episode with Anthony Bourdain, he actually gets Africa Bambaataa to talk about Kraftwerk and how cool he thought that song was, and he had to use it. It's like, thank you, Africa Bambaataa, because don't get me wrong, I love Africa Bambaataa, Planet Rock, skate to it all the time and everything, but it's, he sampled Trans Europe Express by Kraftwerk, and they deserve, those Krauts deserve credit.
Well, fuck Africa Bambaataa.
Oh, because he's a pedophile.
Bambooty. That's what I've been reading all of
male or female.
male. But no, these guys that have come out, they're your age now.
Yeah, that means old. That's Jack's way of saying old.
Yeah. Old,
too.
okay.
Yeah.
These guys are like in their late 40s, 50s.
Oh, so my age too.
And
Decrepit.
he's been doing it for years.
I have a Red Walker. What color is yours? Do you put tennis balls on the end?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I actually use the squash ones, the ones that are not the hairy ones.
Are those better?
Yeah, they are better.
Are we still talking about ball eating here?
No,
The guy?
We're talking about Africa Bambaataa. And
the other ball eater. Unfortunately, a lot of people, it's up to 6 men have come forward now. Men.
Oh,
Well, they're grown men now. They
Right.
were teenagers at the time when this happened, preteens. And African Bambaataa, he was the face of Zulu Nation. Zulu Nation was like a subculture. It took all the gangs and put them into the arts and made them more appreciative of different things as opposed to being involved in street violence. So you have this great contribution to keeping young kids out of trouble, and then you're turning around doing this heinous act.
Right.
Towards
This sounds like Bill Cosby.
But worse.
Worse.
But worse. And these guys that are coming out, obviously they're shamed by, this act that was performed on them. But, Africa Bambaataa has tried to avoid it, but, he finally confessed to his acts.
Oh, he did confess.
Yeah, and there might be some charges or something of that nature that will be coming towards him.
How sad. I guess now I'll never find out what z means. Is that a Zulu reference? See,
I could do a joke here, but I want to be sensitive to the victims.
The
alleged victims.
Oh, the alleged victims. They're grown up. We don't care about them.
All right, so
we only care about our.
It might have been inspired by something.
Is that the sound that he makes while he's banging little kids? Like that's how Africa Bambaataa says hamana hamana hamana.
That's fucked up, George.
Okay. I'm not the one that raped the little kids.
Wow, me neither.
Well, I mean, as long as we're going to be making jokes about that, because they got the law in North Carolina. Now,
yep.
And is there another one in Mississippi? Another one making us the bathroom law.
All the junction towns.
And there's lots of memes flying back and forth about that. And one of there's an entire series of, if you really want to protect the children, pass a law that says that Republican politicians can't use public restrooms, right? Because there's way more incidences of Republican politicians getting arrested in the men's room for inappropriate behavior than any trans people. So that's a good one.
Did you see the post? I guess it was like this right wing.
Now you're making fun of the Chinese. You're just bad.
Yeah,
you're bad racist.
A right wing Christian did like a post in front of the Target. Target was one of the places that was okay with it, and he said, "So you're saying it's okay for anybody to just walk in to a male or female bathroom with and what about the kids?"
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying from the standpoint, which I get, it wasn't necessarily directed towards transgenders, more or less to the pedophilias. I mean, pedophiles. Right. It leaves the door open for them to say, "Well,
I'm transgendered.
Yeah, I want to go to this bathroom." So that kind of leaves a child, at risk.
Sure.
So those type of situations.
We could do a whole show on it. There's a theme, and it's always the children. When I was repoing cars, born again Christian Charlie was talking about what's your deal with the gay people? It's like if they want to do their gay stuff on their own time, that's fine. It's when they want to come into the schools and tell the children that it's okay to be gay. See, that's the problem that they have. They don't want anybody telling the children that might be exploring options in their mind, that might be questioning their own sexuality or wonder. They don't want anybody telling them that it's okay to be gay. Everyone in society needs to tell that child that it's wrong to be gay, so that they never be gay, even if they are actually gay. That's all they really care about is the programming. Speaking of programming, we're gonna do a shift, roll out with a video while we transition over here. All right, how's that for a transformation? Brought to you by the power of editing. All right, I can't wait to see what transition effect Jak is going to use when he edits this video on a special pre-recorded version of the Jorge Rodriguez Show. Our guests are here. We have Dominick Daniel, actor, singer, artist. Grab the microphone. Everybody's got their own microphone. I counted this time. And Erynn, do you use your real name or do you have a stage name? Is it Dalton? Yep. Is there mic on? Now say Dalton
Honey
again.
Badger.
Dalton.
Is she
Like
is
the
she
Dalton
the
gang.
Honey Badger? Where
Yes.
does that reference come from? Because I have
inside joke.
I have a person that I refer to as Honey Badger.
Do you like them?
Because yes,
Okay,
I have
well,
it, but
that's good.
the Honey Badger don't give a fuck.
That's right. Team
That's
Badger.
why she's Honey Badger. Honey Badger don't care. Look at Honey Badger, man. Honey
what I
Badger don't
want.
care. Just like it's like the cobra's biting the Honey Badger, but Honey Badger just sleeps. He don't care. He's gonna eat that cobra.
Badgers are
He's eating
badass.
that now.
It's great, and I'm glad. So welcome to the evening edition, the pre-recorded edition of the Jorge Rodriguez
This
Show.
is
Dominick
amazing.
and Erynn, we have fruits, we have
believe
wines,
this.
fruits and cheeses, and Negroes for your enjoyment. This is
What?
a holdover from the first segment of the show where Jak and I were discussing race issues. Yes.
Race issues?
We were
You had a
discussing
few
race
glasses of wine
issues
already?
before the show. I haven't
Sean
had
Connery
I'm Sean Connery.
Race issues
They're my
over
impersonation. Sean Connery. 007.
We're in for a
Sean
long 2
Connery.
hours. It's a
Race-
long 2 hours
So
So
coming
we're
up.
discussing race issues, and I always like to get appropriate snacks and or props. And in this case, both. They
Hence
sell
You brought
Negroes.
Negroes to the
Yeah.
party?
I brought Negroes to the party because I always do. Makes me more popular there. Well, I guess it depends on the party.
Everybody loves
It
a
doesn't make me
little
more
Negro.
popular at the Republican parties, but you know.
Yeah, they'll be.
You know you're not
But
part
there
of
you go.
that anyway.
Yeah, speaking of that, now that I'm all made up, I was thinking, what can I do now that I'm transformed? I'm officially rose tinted. This is floor show, Brad. I was wearing, and any excuse to take that wig off. Did I show you the picture?
No.
This is.
I want the picture.
Where'd it go? Oh, this is what I bought.
No.
This is what was on the package.
It's Steven.
Not. I need to take that
Steven,
wig
we miss
into.
you.
And
Your mom.
I brought napkins. Oh, thank you.
Did you have an accident
brilliant.
already?
I forgot that I was made up. So what I think, because now what to do, now that I'm all made up, what to do after the show, and I think I am going to go use a restroom. And see what happens.
See what happens.
Sure.
Oh yes, you must.
How
Can you record the
appropriate-
whole thing?
Turn it
all
up
of
a little
us?
bit more. The how appropriate that you're doing this play now, because this goes way back. Rocky Horror has been coming and going and back into
Absolutely.
fashion since 1975. But the whole bathroom and the transgender thing is going on right now. The whole big
Yes.
flap about that. So did that occur to you while you're rehearsing that you're doing possibly, at least in a lot of people's lives, the first time that they were exposed to transgenderism was this show. It was probably the first time that I was to the point where I actually gave it a thought, because I was introduced to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Everybody's got their story. I get to start because it's my show. At Sunday school, my Sunday school teacher, because he was so outraged. All right, and
really?
this was like in '79 or '8, and I was living in Libby, Montana. It took about that long. The movie came out in '75, but of course the phenomenon took a while to build. I don't have a timetable or one of those interactive maps where you can see the spread of the Rocky Horror Picture Show as the interactive phenomenon that it became, which is what Florencia doesn't know, is a cheesy movie. What was expected, taken seriously by the people that made it and were distributing it, became a cult classic because of the people's desire to interact with it, and the people. When I saw actual documentaries about it, they kind of downplayed it. Oh, the people that went back to see it went back to make fun of it, and I'm like, I liked it from the first time I saw it. The songs were really good. Really good. I got the soundtrack and I played the fuck out of that soundtrack in my car over and over again. Like I said while you were making me up, I like every song on it except for the Sword of Damocles. It was very easy for me to listen along and sing along. I knew that I had the soundtrack memorized by the time I went to my very first show. So I was the most savvy virgin that anybody ever saw there. I didn't know what to say in between. I didn't know when to throw the toast or the cards or the rice.
Right.
But I could
What year
sing
was
along.
this, approximately?
This was in the early '80s. The first time I
Okay.
saw it. But the Sunday
Okay.
school thing. Here's my Sunday school thing. We're talking, and I don't know what got him started on it. But has anybody here heard of the Rocky Horror Picture Show? His name was Gary, by the way. And we're like, no.
Okay, wait,
He goes,
and how old were you?
I was like 14, 15.
Okay.
Something like that, and we're like, no. They go, ew! And he goes into this thing. It's horrible. It's this. It's really popular right now, and everybody. And if it ever comes to town, don't go. And we're like, why? And go. It's satanic. It's satanic. They glorify Satan. They
At that point, everybody wanted to
glorify
go.
debauchery, and we're all sitting here going, yeah, tell us more. We go, it glorifies debauchery. It glorifies.
They did
It glorifies the
Advertisement.
dressing up like women. It's just like and what piqued my interest was, this guy is really concerned about this thing. I gotta see it. And anyway, time went by after this whole thing about I was goes and the songs. It's funny because he was very insightful. He goes, and the songs, if you read the lyrics of the songs, they're not just songs. They're glorifying homosexuality, and they're glorifying, which is what it was all about.
And
it all
if you
comes
play
down
the
to
record
that.
backwards, it's all about Satan.
And I'm like, and I'm thinking while I was saying that, like this, you sat and you read the lyrics. You sat and you listened to the lyrics, that you know what the lyrics are. You're obviously very concerned with the song. And then anyway, I forget how much time went by, a year or two. And again, I'm still in Montana. And I'm in the supermarket, and I see the top of a magazine. In the magazine rack, it says the Rocky Horror Picture Show, something that catches my eye. I'm like, oh, double take. Oh, it's that thing. And I'm like, I look around, and I'm like, oh my God, because somebody said, I remember somebody saying in the Sunday school, is it pornography? And I go, it's worse because it gets in there. It gets in there because it doesn't have any nudity, but it gets in there. It gets into the home. It gets into his big concern was that it was disguised as art. You know, the satanic message.
Right.
You know, and then get your satanic mechanic. He wasn't lying.
After he said that you shouldn't see it, how long did it take you to go and see it?
It never. In the time that I lived in that town, it was never there. It was when I came to this town to graduate high school. I went to high school in this town in 81, 82. So in 81 is when I first saw it in Coconut Grove. My friends all took me. My friends all took me. So absolutely, and they made me up and everything. And in those days, I had long hair, so I always Frankenfurter. I didn't even have to say anything. The girls were like curling iron. You're Frankenfurter. Like, okay.
That's who you are.
I wore my swim trunks because I had they were Head brand swim trunks, but they were black, and just a vest. I didn't wear a corset. I just wore a black vest. And the girls lent me their fishnets and some shoes that fit because I'm a small guy, and I looked fabulous. I just want to say they made me up.
Good.
Like,
That's good.
not I look fabulous right now. By the way, I'm going to take a sip of this wine.
Do that.
Swallow.
So anyway, here I am in Montana at the Rosars supermarket, and I see the top of a Rocky Horror magazine thing sticking up, and I had never seen any of the images. I had just only heard this spiel. I had no idea. I had no mental image in my head. I just saw the top of the letters, the logo. So I reach over there and I lift it out. I'm looking around. It's like I'm gonna get in trouble because, you know, this is dirty. This is bad. And I lift it out, and what is it? It's a sticker magazine. It's Rocky Horror Picture Show stickers. Okay,
I love that.
I know, and I'm looking at it, and it's in there with the like Hello Kitty.
They must have that on eBay. Somebody has that on eBay somewhere.
We had it now.
This is the thing. This is the thing that he was free. Everything, and I thought, wow, what they're freaked out about. And then as I'm looking through it, I go, okay. All right, yeah, bra underwear, and I go, oh, and then I saw Frankenfurter, and I'm like, oh, this is it. Sexuality. They would talk to us about it in Sunday school. It all came back. They would just do these anti-homosexuality things, and here we are in Sunday school going, do you ever think about it? They were like, do you ever think about homosexuality? And we're like, no.
And they put your Peter in your back.
Because you shouldn't do it. I go, no, you don't have to worry about that. Because you shouldn't do. We're not gonna. I'm not gonna. I have no. Like, did you ever think? No, I never thought about it. You know, I have. They just obsessed. Like, really, don't. That's the worst. Horrible thing in the world.
Coconut.
And the truth is, they keep bringing it up because they're thinking about it incessantly.
My friends took me. I already loved the music. I had no idea. They didn't. You know, I knew that there were things that you did in the audience, but I had no idea. Talk about blown away. I was flying. I was so beaming. I had like such a great time singing along. And I just like we do that again, like right now. That was so much fun. Oh my God. And so of course week after week for the next, I don't know how many weeks before my friends got distracted by something else, but it was just so
I love the first time stories.
Fucking fun. Yeah. And they did the virgin thing and everything, and I took my oldest daughter when she was 15. I'm flipping through the channels. And this is when she was a little girl. She's a little girl. I'm flipping through the channels, and she's like, "Stop! Go back!" And I'm like, because I saw it. Immediately. I saw a flash of Frank, and like, no. And they're like, "Go back!" I'm like, "No." And like, "Go back!" And she's like, "Okay." And I went back, and she's like, "Leave it here." I'm like, God damn it! It was just the machine. You know, the machine, the red machine. That's all there was. And she's like, that the colors. Immediately,
Yeah,
like
the
that's
colors.
it. She's gone. She's gone. So immediately she loved it. She became an instant Tim Curry fan. Like everything. She's like watched everything that Tim Curry's ever done because of it.
Clue.
Tim Curry post everything. All Clue. Everything. Little Orphan Annie. Everything. She loves Tim Curry.
What was the
You might-
clown movie?
It just turned 70, by the way.
It, yeah.
She just became a Tim
He's the
Curry.
best Pennywise
She would have a
ever
Tim
had.
Curry
Right.
stand-up cut out in her room.
You mind if I ask a question?
Sure.
Since you're talking about experiences, I'd like to hear from each of you, except for
I don't have one.
right.
We have a
But
virgin in the
was
house.
it- what was it exactly about the movie that did it for you? Like, was it the music or the mixture of like what was it about it?
Are we asking me right now? Okay.
Well,
This
we'll
is going
start-
on-
we'll start
with the
host since
Me.
he's first.
Well, I was hooked on the music before I ever saw any of the movie at all, and the movie was just fun. I couldn't believe that such a gooey, sticky, fun thing could exist. Like this is a masterpiece. At the movie, I thought this is a fucking masterpiece. No, nothing short of a masterpiece. Every song was good. It was funny. It was a parody of itself. This is like nobody's getting this. They're making fun of themselves. This is a parody of itself. These people have the best sense of humor. Anyway, Dominic.
For me, I'd never seen it.
No, are you
never seen it until Erynn took me.
okay,
When did we go?
When did you?
Just a couple months ago.
A couple of months ago.
January. January.
I knew of it because when I went to high school, it was a thing at the Coconut Grove Playhouse, and everybody was like Rocky Horror, and I knew of Sweet Transvestite, some guy dressing in drag. That's as much as I knew. I knew anything else. And when Erynn took me to go see it, I want to.
Now, mind you, he'd already been cast as Frankie before he'd even seen it.
My big mouth got me in trouble.
Yeah, well, you're Frank.
I went and saw it, and I was like, I go, first of all, why are all these fucking people talking? And what's all this shit throwing around? What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
But after that, I was like, I got it. And for me as a musician, it was the music. The music is catchy, it's fun, and I was like, okay. And then when I saw what I had to do, I was like, oh wow. But we did. But I had not seen it. I didn't see the whole movie. I wasn't familiar with it at all.
And Aaron's turn to answer Jack's question.
Okay.
Go back to my stream of consciousness.
So I saw it because I have two.
How old were you?
I was 6.
When you first saw it?
Yes.
Really?
Because I have an older sister who's 10 years older than me, and she was 16 and was totally into it. Had the record, played it nonstop in the house. I knew every single song. I was jumping up and down on the bed singing every single song. And then somehow she talked my mom into saying, "Well, I need to bring Erynn to the midnight movie to see Rocky." At 6. Somehow my mom thought this was going to be okay. So they dressed me up as Magenta. My two older sisters think this is really cute. My hair's all teased up. I look like Magenta. And we go to the midnight movie. I don't know what any of this means, but I thought it was so cool. So from the time I was 6 on, I've been a huge Rocky fan. And so.
Did your mom ever see it? Like, did you see, what did I send her?
She never did. She never did. It's hilarious to me now looking back because I have a 6-year-old now.
Okay.
Who has seen Rocky Horror, by the way?
Okay.
I have shown my 6-year-old Rocky Horror, and she knows Dominic. She knows Dominic, and she says this to me as she watches the beginning. She goes, "Is Dominic going to wear women's underwear?" I said yes, and she goes, "Can I do his makeup?"
And I said yes.
Yeah, they did.
I never, and neither did anybody that I know that played Frank when we would go to the movies dressed like Frank. I don't know anybody, any one of my peer group that was gay or effeminate at all. Drag or like a woman or acting like a woman at all. I was dressing up like this character who, to me, after seeing the movie, it's like this is a caricature. This is a satire. This is not a transvestite. This is a spoof of a transvestite. This is everything in this movie. It's a spoof of science fiction. It's a spoof of a musical. It's a spoof of everything that they could possibly, and it's a spoof of itself.
Was this created around the Marty Python era?
No.
Although I think Richard O'Brien is English, and I was telling Florencia, it's like, man, talk about blowing your talent wad all in one place, because each one of those songs, with the exception of Sword of Damocles, which I just think is a kind of weak song, all of those other songs to me are like hits, are like number one.
Yeah.
They're all very good.
Hits,
Very meatloaf-ish.
and and he wrote all them, and you know, his singing voice and his acting is like so good. But then that was it. I saw that shock treatment. Like, oh.
I have not seen
I
that,
never
but
seen
I've
that.
heard it's not good.
That's
I've heard it's not good.
Just don't. Right.
Yeah.
He decided it's like, wow, if I could do it once, it
didn't work.
Lightning in a bottle. It was.
Nah.
It and not,
Even if it
yeah.
was decent, how can you recreate
Yeah.
Rocky? Because
You
that
can't.
is the longest running movie in history.
You can't,
so
but-
you can't ever recreate
But
that.
like, if you watch this, like, man, like, wow, what were you on when you made Rocky? Because you didn't have any other good songs. Shock Treatment does not have any good songs at all.
Was it the same cast in the Shock?
Yeah, it was. He was in it, and I don't know who else.
Okay.
But to me, it didn't matter because the songs all sucked.
Okay, and
there was
that's
no
the most important, yeah.
point to it at all. And like, if I had seen that movie back in the day, because I was a B movie guy from the time I was a little kid. If I had wandered into that movie quite by accident, I would have told all my friends about it and gone back to it, not because I wanted to throw things at the screen and make fun of it. But I would say, you gotta come see this movie. It's bizarre, man, but the music is awesome, and such a good time. Florencia doesn't know, but eventually, little by little, people
Is
started.
it on Netflix?
It started. I don't know.
I think it is. I think it is. It's been on. It's been on
But it's
cable
not-
a lot
and
lately
I
too.
tell and you tell everyone too. It's not a movie that you see. It's an event that you must experience.
Right.
Wow.
Which is funny because we have some really amazing artists that come in and help us. So we have a makeup artist that's designed all of our makeup because we're doing a different version of Rocky than what everybody's used to.
Okay.
Revamped. So we have a makeup artist that's really talented, and then we have a photographer that's doing our shoot this weekend, and they haven't seen Rocky, so they're watching the movie, and that's great that they are, but I'm like, it's not the same.
It's not the same experience.
You
Yeah.
have to go and see the midnight
You're
movie.
setting
By
yourself
the way,
up
the
for
Gateway does a shadow cast three Saturdays every month
Okay.
up in Fort Lauderdale. So that's if you're going to see the movie and not the live show,
That's the way
see
to
the
go.
live
Yeah.
show first. But
Okay.
if you want to go see the movie, that's where they do the shadow cast and everybody yells at the screen, which is fun. But that's how you have to see it. I don't think you get it if you see the movie.
You can't. And so little by little, here's what happened. People started going back because it was a B movie and it was a midnight movie. So you had a bunch of, drunken stoners that looking for something to do anyway. And it really, what the movie wasn't as important as we just need something to do, somewhere to sit. And so they went back, and since the people were coming back for the second, third, and fourth time and seeing this movie, they had the movie memorized. So they started doing dialogue along with the cast, and then they started to respond in the in-between parts. If somebody would say something rhetorical, they would answer, and then... So that became a thing. There came to be regular things that the audience would shout out. There's all the same lines. So all of a sudden, now the audience has a script themselves that they are interacting. So the characters say something on screen. The audience, all in unison, says something. And when there's a song, the audience all sings along. And if they're dancing, the audience gets up and dances. And then the props. And then... the props.
It's
It
a
was
whole
raining.
thing.
The first scene, it's raining. So eventually, some people brought in newspapers and squirt guns and started making it rain. There's a wedding.
Yeah, that's the
There's a
project.
wedding. So people brought in bags of rice, and during the wedding, they're throwing rice on the screen. People throw rice.
It's
you know?
interactive.
And
It's
it is.
immersive.
And
It is.
as time went on, people kept adding more props and more elements until it became this whole big thing. And you would go in full costume or makeup. You would dress like either one of the characters or one of the Transylvanians. Jak is a Transylvanian. For today's what do you think? I bought those at the party
I
supermarket.
love. He
Jack
looks
is
like a
great. He looks
Transylvanian.
great.
It works
Are
great.
Are you going to come to the show, Jack?
The dreadlocks
I
that
would hope so.
he culturally
I hope so, you
appropriated
do.
these dreadlocks from Justin Bieber.
He's like our Torian.
Yeah.
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 So
Torians
you
are
would show up.
secret
Not only
weapon.
would you show up all dressed up, but everybody would show up basically with a big a paper bag. In those
With
days, we had
everything,
paper
rice
bags
and
with all the stuff. The rice, your deck
Yep.
of cards, your toast, your rope.
Yep.
Wait.
Noisemaker,
Wait.
rubber gloves.
Rope?
Don't forget the
Right.
rubber gloves.
Don't forget the rubber gloves, right?
Forget lube.
I don't like that rope
Well,
part.
yeah, we give lube. We're going to give lube at ours.
Don't worry about the
Just
rope.
so you know.
Don't worry about the rope. Jak gets nervous around rope.
Yeah, rope.
You don't like the rope?
They don't work
Yeah, it's a
well.
black
well.
thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Auto asphyxiation, not a cool thing?
he
Okay,
winces.
got it.
It's we were just talking
more
about
the lynching.
We were,
Yeah,
we were just
yeah.
talking
He
about
doesn't
that.
like
Yeah, that's a rough thing.
Yeah. I tried to
don't
make a
wanna talk about
macrame
that.
planter
No
for him once, and he freaked out and ran. Ran out the door. It's like, what? I just need you to
You
help
do
me.
macrame?
Well, Jared
has
not.
to come.
Wow, that's a lost art. I'm
we
impressed.
represent in this,
I
Rocky.
do.
Oh, okay.
Macrame.
For Rocky.
Seriously?
Trust me,
Yeah.
we represent.
Wow, you're a hippie.
I was a macrame slave at my mother's craft shop.
You're a hippie.
Among other things. I can do anything. I can do decoupage, porcelain, ceramics,
Origami.
you name it.
He made King Tut
origami.
over here. The
Damn.
King Tut.
I do origami
Yeah,
too.
we made stuff like that. That was my
Wow.
mom or stepdad. I didn't make that. My
Amazing.
mom or stepdad made
I know,
that.
I just
Although
give
I
them
have some
credit.
pieces that I made. You know what? I made some King Tuts. I just didn't make that King Tut.
King
Nativity
Tuts.
sets and everything. I can do antiquing. I can fire a kiln.
Wow.
Yeah,
Glass
all that.
blow?
Oh, it's horrible.
Glass
She
blow?
traumatized me. I cannot
That's a tough
blow
one.
glass, but I do breathe
Yeah.
fire. Did you see?
I saw your whole album. It is
Yeah.
amazing. I have to
Yeah.
tell you, that's impressive.
Yeah, look, I told.
Can you do that in front of our building before every Rocky show?
Technically speaking, but I was
I'm
a
always
very,
thinking,
very,
I'm always thinking.
very
I'm-
amateur.
I can-
you know, I fucked
I'm
around
a
twirling
very-
fire baton, but that's the next step up. And the fire poi.
Wow.
I'm the rodeo clown equivalent of the fire handling community.
Wow.
I come out in between the real
right, you
fire
breathe
acts.
fire, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but the
heard
real
about that.
fire
This
acts that do
picture's
the
on Facebook.
like a
It's
Gene
amazing.
the
Simmons
stabs. You've seen the
shorts.
people that twirl the stabs
Of
and the
course,
fire swords. They just
yeah.
look amazing.
Yeah.
While in between, I come out and breathe fire.
Wow.
While in between the real acts.
Wow.
Is that a little like Polynesian type of?
Fire
Not the
comes
way I
out
do
when
it.
I pee.
Not the way I do it. No. Although I do spin the
There's
fire poi.
medication for
That's
that,
Polynesian.
Dominic.
I had a fire knife twirler at
Penicillin
my
works
wife's
well,
parties.
I think.
But anyway, it's fun stuff because I'm a big fat ham. Like all of us are that do,
Honey
that
glaze?
do showbiz stuff. Virginia smoked. Thank you very much.
I'm honey glazed.
Yeah, I know this girl named Virginia. She smoked me.
Oh!
Ba-dum-boom.
Put it in your mouth.
Whoa! I had to
How long? Let's do some details before we
Okay.
the show degenerates into Rocky
drunken
horror,
mess.
debauchery. When the Abyss Theater, this
Yes.
is your thing.
This is my
y'all's
theater.
thing.
Yep.
If you go to the Abyss Theater, you'll see artwork on the walls by Dominick.
Sometimes.
Dominick Daniel over here. Sometimes.
Yep.
It's
When he
great.
brings it
It's
to us.
the Abyss
I'll
Theater.
bring some for Rocky.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's one of the reasons that it's fun to live in South Florida because you have crunchy street level theater that you can go and enjoy.
Yeah.
And be a patron. Be a patron of the
And
arts.
you haven't been to the theater since
No, you
renovation.
haven't. No,
you-
it
yeah,
looks
the
amazing
renovations is
now.
a
Renovated?
different theater.
Yeah.
Get that indoor plumbing problem fixed there.
Everything.
Of course. No more sewage on the floor.
No more poles in the middle
Just
of the
kidding.
So where is the Abyss?
It's in Wilton Manors, just south of 5 Points on Dixie Highway. Really easy to find, but it's a converted warehouse. It's like a New Yorkie black box theater, 69 seats, 69 of course.
Lucky
Of
number.
course.
I always have to have 69. Lucky number.
Best number.
And it's a great little theater, and just Rocky history. The first theater where they ran Rocky was 60 seats. So
Really?
it never was a
yeah,
huge
that's right.
production.
What was it? Was that
always
in New
a-
York?
No, in
London.
In
England.
London. Oh,
London.
you're talking about the stage play?
Yes, because
That
it
was
started
in
as a stage play.
1975. Right.
It
I thought the
began-
movie was 75.
It began as a stage play first. It ran.
I know it was a stage play first, and some of the
Was it 75?
some of the
73?
stage cast is in the movie.
Someone has
75.
Google.
Isn't that where Nell came from? There were some original stage members. By the way, have you ever heard the original stage play soundtrack?
I have not.
Horrible,
Really?
awful.
Okay, well,
Awful.
ours isn't like
Same
that.
songs. Same songs. It's like wow,
Ours is really good.
Again, man, when Richard O'Brien just like snapshot,
Yeah.
make this movie, redo your songs to make them good. Okay, brilliant. They're the same lyrics and everything. You can tell it's the same song, but it's just like weak.
Sound like you made a deal with
Yeah.
the devil.
I got a hold of an original. I was really excited about it. It was a big anniversary. Here's how much I love the movie. A double album record set. One record was the movie soundtrack, and the other one was the original stage play
wow,
soundtrack
that's
with the
cool.
original cast, and I loved it with inserts and everything. It was
You still
beautiful.
have that?
No,
Oh.
I lost all my. I had some really nice collectible records.
should
That
be
are gone. Are you
worth
kidding me?
something.
I want to vomit in sadness from the records that I
Yeah.
lost
Wow.
and the books. I left everything in a friend's basement in Montana. It got flooded. It's all gone. All my
Oh,
yearbooks,
not
with all
good.
my
Not good.
accolades and whatever. It is what it is because look, I'm divorced.
You're still alive. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got a show.
When does the play run? When do we?
Okay,
get
so
to
we
go?
open May 12th. It's
Okay.
a Thursday. And we run until May 28th.
All
and
right.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8 o'clock. And then we
So
also...
you're only 3 weekends?
3 weekends, but
Okay.
11 performances because we do 8 o'clock Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we do 2 Saturdays at midnight as well. The first 2 Saturdays are midnight shows
Midnight
as well.
shows on Saturday.
Oh.
Because, of course, you have to have Rocky with midnight shows.
Ooh. So when you do the play, and I know you don't want to give anything away.
No, we'll give away. Tell me.
Okay, well, are you gonna? Is it basically you're going to be doing all of the songs from the movie? Are you going to be doing the entire movie, or are you and a Reader's Digest version?
No. So
what?
there is an actual script and songbook and everything. I know Dominic doesn't know this yet, but there is, and so yeah, I mean we have to do it as the publisher and the writer says we have to do it as far as songs and script and everything. So this is not made up by us. It's the stage version. The
so you're doing the original
show.
Stage version.
Yes. Which is slightly different than the movie.
Okay.
A couple of different songs. But then we have our own vibe to it, which is
what?
Not traditional. I mean, Frankenfurter looks totally different. We're doing a steampunk version of Rocky.
Why didn't you tell me sooner?
I'm telling you now.
Steampunk fetish.
Steampunk fetish version. So, we just feel like the looks are dated. And if we're going to do Rocky, for us, this is our vibe, we want it to be our feeling. And I know there are some, real Rocky hardcore traditionalists, but I think they'll still love what we do with it.
You should eat those people.
The traditionalists?
Yeah, for dinner, because
we will.
I always have to argue with those kinds of people, like the comic book people. When I go see a movie that's based on some comic book, I was like, you just judge the movie by the movie, and forget about what
That's
it just needs to be good, which is my if the play is good, if the singing is good, that's all I'm going to care about. Will people that are familiar with the routine, will they be able to play along? Are you going to have?
Of course, we're allowing all of the audience callbacks and everything are allowed, and it's all of that. Not rice because I can't have that in my theater.
That became a thing. I remember the evolution of it all. They started banning the stuff, and we're all like,
We are creating our own prop bags.
Oh,
so
okay.
We're having, like the water guns and the newspaper and the toilet paper and the rubber gloves and the noisemakers.
Cards.
The cards, playing cards, of course.
Condom
so that kind of
lube.
stuff. Yeah, we're also adding condoms and lube for lucky people. So, yeah, we're adding our own little
grab bag there? Is it valuable door prizes?
Kind of, yeah.
Not everyone gets the condom. Hope that you do.
Yeah.
A glory hole?
Oh, we do have a glory hole in the theater.
Is there?
It's a huge one. I mean,
okay,
you have
good,
to be really big to fit in there.
I need a huge one, to put my head through. Cause
it's
I don't use
it's
them.
Wilton Manners.
I don't use them the right way. I know there's everywhere. Glory holes everywhere. They actually have the pre-installed in the restrooms in Wilton Manners.
I don't go into the men's restrooms, so I have to take your word for it. But
in Wilton Manners, you
Anything
don't know
goes.
who's in there with you.
Anything goes.
Don't let the Republicans
men's
come.
room?
Don't let the Republicans come.
In Wilton Manners,
they'll be in heaven.
Those signs are just suggestions in Wilton Manners.
Why is it the Republicans love to get caught in the bathroom? See, this is the thing, right? Yeah.
It's the
That
thing.
would be funny.
Yeah.
That's what I should wear to go with this here. Some rubber gloves. Will go across the street, maybe to Maggie Burns.
Yeah.
Order myself a Guinness.
So Frankenfurter, Dominick, has a totally different look than the original.
I'm very
sexy as hell,
curious,
but totally different. And we're excited about
And-
that.
Well, yeah, my approach for him was more androgynous, kind of like
more androgynous.
Yeah, David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust.
Not drag queen.
Not drag queen. Very
Assless pants.
androgynous. There's a difference.
Assless pants like Prince.
What's that?
Assless pants like Prince.
Assless.
He's done that for this already.
So, we're not doing, no
He's already done that.
Dominic
for
has a
this.
collection of assless.
Yeah,
pants.
but it's more. I wanted more that kind of that because my influence from where I'm approaching it is that '70s glam.
Okay,
because I'm
excellent.
influenced by a lot of the bands like Bowie and Queen and T-Rex and Mata Hoople and things like that. And I wanted that approach and that look. So with the music and the songs, I'm approaching it that way. And the look, I gave it a spin of a fetish with a more all latex. So it's different. I brought the boots so you can see.
Those are your boots?
Those
The
are the boots that Frankie wears.
Amazing.
Because we got into them while you guys. As soon as you guys
Did you
ate the fudge.
They ate the
They
fudge. You ate the fuckers.
Damn you!
ate my fudge.
I don't. It wasn't me. It was Florencia.
It was
Yeah.
me.
Oh, that's okay.
It was the rookie.
Girl, it's okay.
We'll blame it on the rookie. Blame
sitting
it
in
on
the
the rookie.
studio, and I said, you're in for a treat, and there's a hint in that bag over there, and she pulls out this boots. I was like,
Like,
what are you gonna do with that fudge?
If you want to see the boots, but that's why we brought
Those
them.
are Frankenfurter's boots.
I mean, it's not. The audience isn't going to really. Maybe we'll have Flo to hold it up to the camera
You'll have
over
to,
here.
and you'll have to describe a little.
Those are the boots to beat all boots. All right, hold those up to the camera.
You're in charge of
What
those.
don't those boots have? They have spikes. They have a graven heel. They have a platform, and they have skull buckets. Scully buckets. Amazing.
Well, that was why when I wanted to do Frankie, I wanted to create.
They're quite. What is
you
it?
know, Dominic,
They're quite uncomfortable. I could just say that.
and probably to wear too.
Yes.
Get it? Yeah.
That was.
I might be able to fit into those boots. What are those? Like 9? So those are 10. Oh, I gotta have to put 2 pairs of socks on.
But that's what I wanted. I wanted.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was like because I'd never done a musical of any kind, and I wanted a different look for Frankie.
You really never done a musical?
No, I've always done straight theater, and to
No
me,
pun
this,
intended.
no pun intended.
Ba-dum-bum.
It was just it's a challenge, but I wanted to give a different spin to it with the fetish look and a whole. After I saw the movie, I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. You know, I wanted to
Well,
do
you ought to be
something
original.
different.
I mean,
You have to.
what's the point?
And we encourage the
We've
actors
all,
and the cast to
by the way.
think outside of the box.
If you do that, if you do the original, everybody that goes is going to be like, I did it better than that.
Yeah, it's
And
boring.
we've all done that.
It's boring.
But I
It's
can
really
tell
boring.
you, because we've studied. I mean, we've looked on YouTube. We've watched a lot of professional productions, and I haven't seen one like ours.
No.
One like ours. They all do the traditional Rocky.
Sure.
And for us, I see no point. Go see the movie.
Right. So
Well,
the
more the one that I
music
look at.
is like original
No, the music
arrangements
is
that
the
you're
same.
using.
No. The music is. We're very
Using-
true to the music.
It's the attitude that's different.
It's the costuming,
Yeah.
the attitude, the type of characters. I mean, one of the neat things about doing Rocky in a small venue like what we have is that you can actually play the characters and they're not caricatures.
more intimate.
You know,
Right.
we're going Rocky horror. It's not like a wink and a nod to the audience and hey, here comes Sweet Transvestite. Everybody knows how this goes. We're playing it for real.
Okay.
It's a real character. Where are you coming from?
God, that's fun. I envy Dominic right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
It-
Brad and
yeah,
Janet
it's
are
a lot of fun.
terrified. This isn't like no, we're terrified to be there.
Yeah.
He laid the trap to make our tires flat and bring us in there because he's experimenting on human beings. I mean, if you think about what Frankenfurter does,
Sure.
It's like a
Yeah,
serial
I get-
killer.
yeah.
He's a
create
serial
a
killer.
man out of body parts and
It's a serial
just like
killer.
Dr. Frankenstein.
It's like a
He's
Buffalo Bill.
He's a sexual serial-
sexual predator. He
Right.
rapes Brad
Exactly.
and Janet.
Exactly.
I mean, come on,
Why
let's
did
be
you
honest
call
about
that rape?
Well, that's how we're approaching.
I'm just saying.
That's how I'm approaching the character.
in
of Frankie.
Oklahoma. It's not. Did you see that?
I'm approaching the character in that.
Not
that
if
kind
they're
of
drunk.
fashion.
Not if you're drunk. You can put it in your mouth as long as she's drunk. It's
Put it in
okay.
your mouth.
Keep drinking there, Erynn. I know.
Make your mouth wider.
Hey,
Want
it's a
some more
swivel
wine?
stick, baby.
Open your mouth
Did
wider.
you see this case?
What?
In Oklahoma,
No, Oklahoma,
a judge
it's
just
a-
ruled that you can
It's
rape.
illegal.
I don't know what
You
goes
can
on.
rape a woman if she's
right.
drunk and you put it in her mouth and she doesn't
right.
know.
It's
that's
not
okay.
rape.
It's not rape.
If you're passed out
Is
drunk.
that really?
It's not rape.
Oral
A judge
oral
just ruled
sex
that.
with a drunken unconscious person.
Now,
is
is
not
rape on the other way around? If, say, the raper likes to go down, how does that work?
That's a good question. And not in
Don't
Oklahoma.
know.
Because if
I'm
I was
sure.
to be a raper, that's
Hey.
the kind of raper I
Probably
would be.
depends on the judge.
Okay.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
the kind
but
of raper I am.
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
outcome might
you know.
not be.
This is so.
Dom-
so
the Dominic logic is
Dominic
good.
is typecast as the abyss raper.
Yes.
By the way.
Oh, yes. I was in extremities and, well,
You're typecast already?
yeah.
Oh, he's been.
I haven't. With your musical background, I find it hard to believe that
Well,
you
no,
haven't
because
done a musical
I'm
yet.
a drummer, and I've done your occasional backup vocals. But thank you, my dear. No, I've never done it, and I mean, like I was telling Erynn, it's basically if you're going to do a musical as a straight actor from theater. Rocky would be the best, and then Hedwig and the Angry Inch would be the next.
I've never seen
because they're easy,
Great.
and you
So
can
good.
make them your own. And Rocky songs are. At first, I'll be honest, I was scared. I was like, oh
Really?
wow, can I do this? And then my point of reference was the German production of Rocky. And Rob Fowler was the Frankie that I looked at because they brought a different kind of like cabaret, spin to it, and his singing was he did a blonde Frankie. He was all tattooed up, very different than what people expect. And I go, I like that, and his vocals were just phenomenal. And I was like, that was my guideline. Not, I'm like, I'd like to do that, but I have to bring my own spin to it because it's you have to. And once
you ought to. I mean.
Yeah, once I did that, I'm like, okay, and I'm still finding my way around. And once we get more into it, the character will develop as we go. It's a great character, I would say, and to be as my first musical, I'm happy it's this one because it's easy.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
People that
and if you can dress and drag and do that, all that stuff, after that, everything is easy.
Well, let me ask this about the character: what is it that makes it so interesting? Makes him so?
For me, how I look at it now, he's because the movie version is very campy,
right,
and it's fun.
Intentionally.
Intentionally. I'm
Right.
bringing a different, being that I'm coming from straight theater, I'm bringing more the character, and then the music is secondary.
Right.
But because I'm developing a character, so I'm bringing a more sinister, a more darker twist to Frankie, I hope. And
I'm excited.
Something more edgy as opposed to just I'm all dragged out, because in a way I'm not all dragged out.
More, less flamboyant, more serious.
Yes, and I'm giving honestly more a human touch to it.
Wow, I'm very intrigued.
And with the actors that I have in the ensemble, I'm able to feed off that. From what I'm seeing so far, because we haven't done a real run through of it yet, but watching them work. And getting to get a feel of them, I'm seeing that I can bring all that, and it's gonna convey through the audience. It's gonna be different, and it's gonna be
really
very
cool
different
because we're blending two families together for this show. So we have the Abyss family. So we're co-producing with another group called Evening Star.
Okay,
and they are kind of more the musical theater experts. We're not. So we've kind of blended like the dark Abyss group with the musical theater group that came with Evening Star, and the people that Evening Star has brought have such amazing musical.
Tell me about those people.
They're based in Boca. Rosalie Grant is our director for the show, and she owns Evening Star. And Rosalie and I have been friends since we were both just actors, in theater. And then she started her own group, and I started mine. And she's amazing. She started with a kids theater, and then grew it to also like edgy adult kind of theater too. But she's always been more musical. She's a vocal coach, and that's where her expertise is. So the group that came along, I mean, these a lot of them are in their 20s. They're so disciplined. They read music. They're musicians. I mean, they take this so seriously. The musical theater group that she has with her. It's great.
Like their energy and professionalism is
so amazing.
You're not going to have live musicians.
We can't because our venue is too small.
Too
It would
small.
blow everybody's ears out. So we have to do tracks, which is hard because we really would love to have live
want to
band.
really
Where are
belt
you
that
getting
out
this? Are these karaoke tracks? I mean, where are you?
No, I mean we had the tracks professionally done.
Okay.
They're very true to the original music because we don't like to mess with that.
Sure.
We want to be true to the music.
Okay,
as
good.
it's written.
Same as not speeding
So
things up.
everybody will
I found
know
some
the
karaoke
songs.
tracks, and they were like fast. And I guess you gotta.
No, our tracks are really
These
true
are
to the
steady.
original.
Yeah.
Everybody. I want
is
everybody
fine.
to be able to sing along to it and say, "Oh, that sounded weird. We didn't like that version." It's not like that. We'll bring our own stuff.
We'll
to
bring
the
our own
actual
spin to it,
songs.
but it still sticks to
But
the
it still
traditional
sounds-
feel. To
I'm
what
very
we
intrigued.
do.
Now, one of the things when I was talking to Erynn, you said that this was a particularly sexy. I'm trying to sell tickets here. And this is going to be
More
a particularly
erotic.
Because I'm thinking, what are you going to do beyond, underwear? I mean, they're already, and there's one tiny little nipple, because you know that from the movie, right?
Well, because we use mixed media.
So one of the things that Abyss does, we work with
Yes.
filmmakers who are really
Yes.
talented, and so we wanted to bring,
That would be Chris.
a filmmaking aspect to it, and we have an amazing videographer, Chris Bear.
Chris Maplethorpe. there.
Yes, Chris Maplethorpe Bear. So some of the scenes we've actually filmed, including the bedroom scene between Frank and Brad and Frank and Janet, and we can go a little more racy with the bedroom scene on film.
Okay.
And we did. There's full nudity in that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I'm one
great.
of them,
How did your
yeah.
husband feel about that?
Oh, he's fine. He knows.
Yeah.
He's used to this.
That's, awesome and amen, because that's It's art, and it's funny because I have a 14-year-old daughter, and she's on the spectrum, the autism spectrum, and she's a big fan of music. And so we listen, and when we're in the car, like listening to all kinds of music, and she knows that there's words and profanity that she's not allowed to use, and she said, but when we're singing along, and it's like, what's the difference? And I go, it's art. This is art. I said, that's the difference. And she makes videos, and she makes drawings, and she does drawings. And I explained artistic license to her, so she creates videos on GoAnimate. It's a website that costs me money, and the dialogue. This is the whole thing that they do. She's part of a community. They borrow each other's characters, each other's GoAnimate characters. They post the videos on YouTube. They give each other credit. If somebody borrows a character, creates a character that's an homage, they give them credit. Thank you, Arabella, and blah blah. But it's a lot of bathroom humor because this is kids, and this is what they find funny. It's a lot of bathroom humor and kids getting in trouble for cursing in class. And so she's like, "Is it okay if I?" And I said, "Yes, honey." He goes, "Is it because it's art?" And I go, "That's right, honey." I said, "You have artistic license." So now she asked me before she puts profanity in a video. She goes, "Am I allowed to use profanity?" And I say yes. And she says, "Is it because I have artistic license?" And I said, "Yes. All artists have artistic license."
That's right.
And it's art. And I explained to her the difference with art. Art is art. You're expressing yourself. You're saying something. It's not the same as real life. Real life is this. We're in public or restaurant. We use this language. We want people. I said, but your art is your art, and it can be whatever you want. So there it is. Well, that's very brave and bold.
Well, and I also feel that
tickets.
at Abyss, our thing is dark and edgy and horror. We do a lot of horror theater, so a lot of blood and guts and all that stuff happens. If that's okay to do, then nudity should be okay to do. I never understood the line. Like, it's okay to have violence, but it's not okay to have nudity.
On TV, from the time I was little, you could, and I'm a little kid watching The Untouchables, remember? A Desilu production, The Untouchables.
Yeah.
Violent, disturbingly violent. I have memories to date of scenes that I saw in The Untouchables that, like, it was just like cold-blooded. Like, they machine gunned this woman because she talked, and they just gunned her down while she's begging for her life. And I'm like, that was like horrible. But a nipple, God forbid. God forbid.
No,
the movie,
the original with Robert.
No, I'm talking about the series, the TV series with Robert Stack. Absolutely, it was gritty. A Desilu production. It was gritty as a motherfucker. It was good, and it was very good. It was very good, but I thought, this is cold-blooded murder is okay. Murdering someone,
but your naked body isn't.
But a nuded,
that's an American
the problem
thing.
is
that
it will wake up homosexual tendencies.
No, a nipple
and we don't want that in our children.
I've been around some very pointy nipples and did not get hurt by them.
Not even in the eye? Not even
I tried.
poking you in the eye?
I tried.
Okay.
You didn't have sexual thoughts?
I did. I did have
homosexual thoughts?
No, not from a nipple. Not from a nipple, even though men have nipples too.
It was the devil.
Yeah, but it's not the same kind of nipple.
It's not. It's a man nipple.
But it's interesting because if you go to Australia, it's the opposite.
You go to England,
the naked body's okay on TV, but if you have Ren and Stimpy on The Simpsons, they would cut Ren and Stimpy. You can't see that kind of violence in Australia. They censor violence and allow nudity, so it's the opposite. This
July, my Australian friend is coming to visit at the same time as a Montana friend. They've never been to Miami.
Three-way.
I'm trying to think.
Three-way.
Totally. Yeah, man.
One will be undressed, the other one will.
Yep. We're going to Pringle. You know, the Pringle potato chips?
Yeah.
It's like multi-spooning them.
That's how you do it.
Absolutely. Do you have anything going on in July? Because I want to prank them. See, in both cases, the Australian... Listen, in Montana, they have no black people, in case you didn't know. Not a single one.
My sister lives in Idaho, so it's kind of the same thing.
It's on TV. And the Australian, the black people, are the Aborigines, not the same.
Yeah, they also don't have either.
Also, in both places, they don't have Jews and pretty much anything. So I want to kind of prank them, because I was at the Party Supermarket today. You know what they have there? Glue-on horns.
Yeah.
For my Jewish friends, I thought, like, all right, when I introduce them to you, everybody be wearing the glue-on horns and a hat. And then at some point, everybody take their hat out. Just don't say anything. Just take your hat out.
Yeah, you have to take them to a show at our place, for sure.
Yeah, so that's what I want to prank them. And for the black people, Jak, I want to talk to Larry Dog, and I want to see if I can take them. I'm not going to tell them where I'm taking them, to maybe one of those all-black comedy shows. What do you think?
Yeah, that'd be very new.
Or a hip-hop concert. just
Uncle Luke's. Is Uncle Luke still around?
Yeah, he is.
They're Uncle Luke's, baby.
He supports... No. The club itself or
Yeah,
him?
the club itself.
Yeah.
No, the club's gone.
Oh, well, forget it. No Uncle
He-
Luke's.
Fuck Luke.
He coaches football now.
And supports Trump.
Oh
yeah, really?
Yeah, he's one of the, what the?
I went
Wait,
to
wait,
high-
wait, excuse
He went
me,
to he went to
he's
Beach
black?
High. Yeah,
He's black and he
it's
supports
Luther
Trump.
Campbell.
And-
It's Luther Campbell from
Yeah.
Two Live Crew.
Right.
He went to
And he
Beach High.
supports Trump.
He's making America great again.
Weird.
He
I went to high
fought
school with him.
censorship. He fought Nick
Wait.
Navarro.
That's
He
weird.
supports the guy who won't disavow David Duke.
Right.
So he's not that smart.
Go figure.
He's not that smart.
They're out there.
Okay,
They're out there.
gotcha.
Stacey
He's a
Dash. That's
football
another one of the black
coach.
Well,
Trump
she's an
supporters.
idiot.
She's an
Yeah,
idiot.
She's an
yeah,
idiot.
she's the bed
But listen,
bitch.
you know, because
Yeah.
you're a smart lady. In every period in history, because I talk about history on my show all the time, and phenomenons interest me. In every period in history, in any conflict that you can think of, the French Revolution, there were peasants who sided with the aristocrats. During the American Revolution, there were American colonists who sided with the British. Ben Franklin's own son, the governor of New Jersey, called his father a traitor. He had to flee to England. During the Russian Revolution, there were peasants who defended the royal family. During the Civil War, there were
Sure.
black people that fought on the side of the South.
Oh,
During
yeah.
the Indian Wars, there were Indians that helped the cavalry, the white cavalry, round up the other Indians. I don't know why there were Jews for Hitler. There were Jews that helped hit the
Hitler's
Nazis round
fine.
up the other.
Hitler's okay.
I don't know why.
survive.
Can anyone explain these things to
I
me?
can.
These phenomena? Can anyone explain
He's
these?
got an answer.
I can.
Can you?
Lack of a vertebrae.
Lack of a vertebrae?
No, to
I just-
survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, lack of
but-
a vertebrae.
Yeah.
At some
Yeah.
point, it ought to be obvious that you aren't going to fare better than the peers that you're betraying.
Right.
I mean, that
Right.
what a stupid, short-sighted way to be. You know,
Absolutely.
You have to like look. Don't you see? They don't like you. They really don't like you.
Right.
And-
That burnt me to the core when I saw Hispanics or Latins, period, with the "Make America Great" stickers.
Oh
down
yeah.
here in
Oh yeah.
in South Florida.
Dude, they're
I'm
talking
like,
about
talking
you.
about you. He's talking
I know,
about you.
the Cubans. 'Cause
Okay,
I'm-
okay, but I have to say, there's a part of me that believes that he paid them to do that because you
'Cause he
know
does that.
Trump's very first
He
you know,
does.
coming
Right,
out as running for president.
right,
He
right.
paid all those people to stand
Right,
around him.
right. I mean-
so I'm sure he was like, "Hey, put this hat on. Here's $100."
I mean, the preachers
I have
that
to
he
believe
got.
that that's what he did.
He does do that, but he
the,
has.
the preachers he got from Ohio.
That's
Coons.
so South American.
Works for me.
by the way, because you know my family's Cuban and they're to the right of Attila the Hun, and I can't
Well,
get.
that's a Cuban thing too,
It's a
right?
Cuban
a lot
thing.
of them are
It's a
conservative.
total Cuban thing.
Yeah.
Because the commies took our stuff.
Right.
And I said, like I know that
Cuba's opening up. Now.
Cuba is, but there's the generation. Like my family
Yeah, I know.
were landowners, and the commies confiscated our property. So anybody to the left of Hitler is poison. All right, to my family. All right, but when they like you know they're very Republican and they're pro all these candidates who are very very bigoted. And I try to tell them, I said, you know, you haven't lived in other parts of America. I lived in Montana where they didn't know I was a Cuban. They had no problem talking about how they feel about Hispanoids with me around because they have absolutely no idea that I am one. And I say this to my family, and I said, I want to tell you something. They don't like you. They're perfectly happy to take your campaign contributions and pay you some lip service and do a little bit of this and that, but they don't like you. Don't you understand that you're a black man at a Klan rally, baby? You're so stupid.
And
They would deport you right now. They're not. Here's a quote. Here's a quote. When I brought up and go, you know, not all Hispanics are the same. You know, there's Cubans, and they cut me off. They cut me off. They go, a spick is a spick. I'm not going to start splitting brown hairs. I'm not going to start fucking sorting out the spicks from each other. A spick is a spick. You got a Z on the end of your name. Get the fuck out of here.
And knowing that, right? You can imagine like what I feel seeing a bumper sticker with "Making America Great."
I can imagine.
I was like, "What are you fucking stupid?" He's talking about you,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they're imagining the time when, you know,
Yeah,
black people weren't
right
in power.
But, you know,
and, yeah.
along with black people, they were saying spicks as well.
Of course.
You know,
Anybody
so-
of color.
Right.
Anybody of
So,
color.
Mexican,
so
Jews,
it blows my mind when I see it, and it's like you just don't get it. You know, you just don't understand. And
Voting
you know,
against your own interests.
Right, but at the end of
They've
the day,
always,
Hillary
they've always
Hillary
they've
will
always
be the
been there.
president, and Bernie will be the vice
No.
president.
No, but
that's not
listen,
gonna happen.
no, she won't make Bernie vice president.
she won't.
But
They hate each
however,
other.
Why not?
You know,
They
all
hate each
these,
other.
all
She'll
these,
make her
all these
husband.
Bernie or bust people are really pissing me off. Can I just say the Bernie or bust people are pissing me off so bad right
Why
now.
is that?
I'm pro Bernie, but I'm not a Bernie or bust.
I am
I'm voting
pro
for
Bernie as well, and I would love for him to win the
Listen.
nomination. But if he doesn't, I guarantee you he's going to get behind Hillary because he does not want the Republicans to win. All these
Right,
people who say
right. Absolutely
if Bernie
he
doesn't
will.
get the nomination, I'm going to
Listen,
stay home and not
Bernie-
vote.
But
Bernie
what are
will-
the
Pull up
options?
your big boy and big girl
Right.
pants and go out and vote because the alternative is much worse than
I would
Hillary
vote for a
presidency.
flaming bag of shit before Trump. Right? Before I voted for Trump.
A flaming
The
bag.
point is you will go vote instead of these people who are like
me
I'm
voting
not
for
voting.
Hillary.
not voting.
Me voting for Hillary.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, there.
Yeah,
I did it.
but you
I
did
I
it.
will.
Are you of the belief that this whole Trump thing is just one big diversion? Because at the end of the day, Hillary didn't have a snowball's
No.
chance in hell.
No.
She didn't have a snowball's chance in hell after the whole
No.
Obama thing,
No,
right?
nobody is that smart right now in politics. Nobody
No?
is that. No.
No?
The Trump, because you read the letter that his campaign, his strategist, when she quit, she said,
Oh.
nobody is more surprised at how
I read
far
this.
Trump got, especially Trump. Nobody said this is.
He did it for publicity.
He did it for
He didn't
publicity.
ever
He didn't
think
he was
he
going
would
to get
get
this far.
this far.
It's like a Saturday Night Live skit.
He proved the point.
That's what it is.
But
It
here's the thing. Here's the thing that I've always said that now, like, this is proving me correct. I go, there are people in America. There's an element in America that if someone stands up on a soapbox and says, "I hate beaners," anything else that comes out of their mouth they won't hear. "I hate beaners, and I'm going to feed your children into a wood chipper and use them as my garden fertilizer." They hear, "I hate beaners." That's all that. That's all. Oh, he hates beaners. That's it. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. They're so bigoted, so deeply steeped in bigotry. That
But here's the thing. I do believe if you look at Trump and his politics,
Right.
he's Democrat.
all his life,
He is.
all his life.
So
all the
it's
thing,
a
right.
game.
He's
This
always,
is a game
This
to
is
him.
this is a game.
He is
He's
saying
always,
what he needs
He
to
said that
say.
years ago. He said that in '90 in the People magazine.
Yeah.
If I ever ran
Right.
for president, I'd run as a Republican.
So all
they
of these
they watch
Republicans
Fox
that think they're going to
News.
get a conservative,
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
going to laugh. I will laugh.
And the thing, this is why I said it's probably one big diversion, because Trump is a reality star.
Well, that's what
And
he
what,
is,
he,
yeah.
what he's doing is pandering to the people that feeds into reality
He's
shows.
learning as he goes. He's like, oh, this gets a good laugh. Okay, I like that. Okay, I'm going to say that now.
The
He doesn't believe
7-Eleven
it.
shit. I mean, are you serious? I mean, this was a...
Yeah, he
this-
called 9/11 7/11.
7-Eleven.
He don't
Right.
know. He don't care.
And the people...
Nobody cares.
I don't follow the news, so.
And the people just feed
Wow.
into it.
Hilarious.
Wow.
See, the only thing about the whole Obama run is that Obama brought into...
Every day he called Tanzania.
Yeah.
Nice. I like this.
Every day. There was
thing-
another
But I think he does this shit on purpose just to see how far he can go.
right.
Well,
I
dumb
mean,
and dirty.
listen.
Him and Hillary, because
Oh yeah, they were friends before all of this. He hung out with the
Are
Clintons.
you
sure
talking?
He gave
Right.
money
They
to the
went to
Clinton
all
Foundation.
the parties. They went to all each other's parties.
on.
They
This-
probably
this-
saw each other
Come on.
naked.
This-
They're so close. Yeah. They've been
Party.
Swingers.
They hot
They're
tub
swingers.
together.
Nice.
This
Hillary
is-
and Bill and Melania and Donald. Woo!
Key parties, man.
Monica serving drinks. Monica Lewinsky serving drinks. See,
Yeah.
the thing that trips me out is that this is all WWF. The only thing about
It
Obama,
is.
what Obama did was Obama created this American Idol type of thing where we're more into the fact that, ooh, a president knows how to tweet. He's hip.
Mm-hmm.
So Trump is the after effect of that. He's
But
saying
so is
all-
Bernie because
Bernie
he
is-
uses social
Ber-
media brilliantly.
Bernie
as well.
is as well, and
That's all he's got. The mainstream media
Yeah.
They won't
boycott,
cover
blackout. Because they're and I have to explain this to people. Sorry, because
Yeah.
here's the thing that people don't understand, and I want to get this out there because I have to explain broadcasting to people and its connection to the political system. Because I'm a radio person who spent my life in broadcasting in the broadcast industry. We grow up in America. We're used to hearing campaign contributions. They're fundraising dinner, campaign contributions. They
Right.
raise this super PAC. We're used to hearing this, but nobody ever talks about this money that they're raising. Where
does it go?
To what? Where does it go? It goes to broadcasting. It goes to radio and television.
Advertising.
So
Yep.
so CNN, NBC, all of these major markets, all of these broadcast entries, they're the recipient of all of these millions.
So of course
and
they're
billions
going
of
to
dollars.
push the agenda.
they love the status quo. They don't want campaign finance reform. They don't want to change to the establishment. They don't want to change to the status quo. Bernie wants campaign finance reform where you can't buy elections. The broadcast industry, the radio and television industry loves Citizens United. Unlimited income. Whoa! That's the final destination of all that money is radio and television ads. That's where it's all going. They're the ones reaping the benefit. So they're going to advocate whatever candidate is going to keep that machine going.
So of course you're going to get all these statistics telling you that Bernie is losing and Hillary is winning and all.
He's losing, but he's not out.
Amazing.
He's losing, but it's not out. Even
when he wins a state, they're like, yeah, but he barely squeaked by.
Right.
You know, they totally take it away.
Right.
Scale $1,500 per appearance pundits. It's all coming out now. That's the wonderful thing that I like about the internet. Besides that, it was our salvation. Is there's a segment of the population below a certain age where mainstream media is irrelevant to them. See, they get all of their media from the internet, from the websites that they trust. No CNN, no MSNBC,
and the Daily Show.
Right.
Yeah, the Daily Show.
Really, seriously,
I want to cry about the Daily Show.
Yeah.
But go watch Full Frontal with Samantha Bee because she's amazing.
I love Samantha Bee.
She's hilarious.
Why didn't they give it to her? They could have given. They could have given
that.
the Daily Show to Samantha Bee
Now we're talking.
or Jessica Williams, who is funny
hilarious. I
on
love
her
her.
least
I love
funny
her.
day.
I love her.
Is she
She's
full
a
frontal?
Stitch. I bet you she would for that job.
I mean, Trevor
I
Noah's
don't understand.
okay.
No, listen.
Yeah.
I don't because I
takes a while to
remember
get
when Jon
used to
Stewart
him.
brought him in. I watched Daily Show religiously, and I remember
Yeah,
when Jon
me
Stewart
too.
brought him in as a guest, and I was like, nice guy. Whose dick is he sucking that he got that show? Here's a with high profile.
Everybody.
So many people wanting that position. So many big name talented people that could have filled that role. An unknown juvenile foreigner. Okay, what?
I don't get
it. Completely unknown. He's so unknown. He's from another planet. He's from the other side of the planet. Right.
He meets all of the quotas.
No. He's not. He's not famous in whatever country he's from. All right. They don't know who
South
the fuck
Africa.
he is. Okay?
South Africa.
All right. They don't
Africa.
know.
Same.
Does he speak Afrikaans?
South
No.
Africa.
I think
No, he don't.
He's not famous there. So he sure as hell isn't famous
I've
again.
never been
he's
impressed
Lethal
with
Weapon
him.
2.
All he does
God, that
is he
was
reads
good.
what's written for him.
And
South Africa.
He reads
Here's
what's
the thing.
written.
Here's the thing, because this is a peeve, and you're theater people, and this is a comedy rule. All right? Because I don't know. Have you ever had to teach people comedy? I have to teach people comedy in the course of my job. You know,
No, we do horror.
comedy.
Just wing it.
Comedy's teachable.
Just wing it.
There are principles.
At the abyss,
all
at
right?
least, wing it.
One of the rules of comedy is you can't laugh at your own material, which is why Tom Green,
Right.
for example, could do all this ridiculous shit that we'd be laughing in the middle of it. And it's funny because he's keeping a straight face during it.
Yes.
You can't laugh at your own jokes. It unfunnies it. So he'll crack an unfunny joke and then laugh at it himself. It's like, wah, wah, wah.
Right.
It's not good. Here, I will teach you a comedy lesson, if you will. Here's comedy 101. You cause people to think that you're going to say one thing, and then you say another thing. For example, when I first met Dominick, I thought he was a real asshole. But after getting to know him, I realized that he can't help it.
Well, that's
You see? You thought I was going to say, after getting to know him a while, I realized that he's not an asshole. That's what I led you to believe that I was going to say, but instead I said something else. Why is that funny? I don't know. That's the.
But is it true?
No, it's not true. I love Dominick. I love Dominick. But you were the guy that was
You're just
here.
silly.
Dominic
I was
had-
your Dracula. You're my Renfield.
I love Dominick, but
I was a good Dracula.
you were the awesome Dracula.
Dominic
And
just
you-
had an artist moment.
You were
You
an
know.
awesome Dracula. I was so honored. I was so honored to be Dominick's Dracula, if I may gush.
my Renfield.
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 I'm like a little drunk. I was your Renfield. I was very honored. That was a proud moment.
I
I'm
loved
glad
it.
got
You
those
were my
pictures.
best Renfield
Wonderful.
because
I'm
I
very proud.
had some clinker Renfield. What?
Who was?
You can't say that.
Were you Renfield?
Well, no, I liked him as Renfield.
Yeah,
He
okay,
was, You
okay.
know, who was my other Renfield?
Wasn't it Willie?
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
but I
come on now.
liked George
Willie
as my
was not as
Renfield.
good as me.
No, I liked my
Oh,
Renfield.
but I have to
Renfield.
say, Willie did make a great Nosferatu.
I could not have done
right?
that.
He did a
I
great-
could not have done that
Nosferatu.
He was a great
Okay.
Renfield. I
Yeah.
liked him
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he
yeah.
had.
Renfield's supposed to be a little gnome.
You came out. You came out.
But you had an attitude.
And you came out with
And
your
I
little
like that.
gummy worms. Your gummy worms were everywhere.
I know.
I like my
I love
Ren-
theater.
he
I
was a
still think we have
perfect
gummy
Renfield.
worms
I love it.
under the risers somewhere.
I love, and because I explained to people, I talk people out of.
Was it at the same?
Willie.
Willie, yes. So
You did.
yes.
Talk on the air. No off.
No,
off air.
this is like kind
I
of
know.
off
Yeah,
the cuff because I'm
we're
not
gonna
sure.
edit this
Yes,
out.
it was.
I love because I got into radio because I was in summer theater for 3 years, and it was I met the DJ that got me my radio job was also in there, and he was a ham and not in a good way, and he was a puker on the air. He needed somebody to fill in for him for an extended vacation that he wanted to take. And, George, you want to be a DJ? And I said, Mike, if you can be a DJ, and I was making fun of him. I go, if you can be a DJ, anybody can be a DJ. I was making fun of him, so that's how I got. But I've always been.
Is that the way you talk
I've always
on the
been in
radio?
school. No, I didn't. This is my radio voice. Good afternoon. Welcome to KLCB, Libby, Montana. I'm George with a J. It's 47 below zero outside. Penelope lost her dog. If you've seen a white Shar-Pei, please call 954.
Excuse me.
Put it in your mouth.
Is that Brad Majors?
Yeah.
That sounds just like Brad Majors.
I could put on a Brad thing.
Majors. Oh.
Yeah, I was very, very square. But ham theater, people that do theater, we're hams, the class clowns. I explained that to people that want to get into radio. I said, do you have the disease? When they would ask me to get me a radio job, I go, do you have the disease? And they say, what's the disease? And I say, the ham disease. Do you have the ability to go through life without getting people to pay attention to you all the time? And they go, no, I need attention all the time. I go, that's the disease. Come with me. I'll
Not for me. Not
help
for me.
you.
This way.
It's not for me.
I'll help
that's
you
not how I look at it.
because people not paying attention is just it's pain. It's a pain on the inside.
Well,
So you have to have people pay attention.
For me, it's more like I'm doing what I know that people that are coming to see the show would like to
I'm
do.
being sarcastic, of course, but there's a charge when you do something, and this goes all the way back to when we were showing off or doing class clowny stuff in school. When you do something, tell a joke or do a trick or whatever, and people laugh or you see their eyes light up, there's an endorphin release. That's the connection. It makes
That's
you feel
performing
good.
in general.
It makes you feel
That's
good about it, but not
performance.
everyone has that, you see.
Yeah.
Some people
I have
have
contempt for my audience.
some people don't.
I do.
Perfect
I do.
Perfect
Some people
Frankenfurter.
are paralyzed. Like you saw Mr. Saturday Night, which is a good example.
I didn't.
The Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal.
Watch that because that's where I was giving comedy lessons, but that's where they articulate the thing. It's like, you see what I did there? You said I thought I was going to do one thing, but I did something else. It's like, that's what it is. It starts with, it makes a good point. He and his brother are doing a 2-person comedy routine when they're young, but then when it's time for the talent show, they do it in front of their families and everything, and it's great. When it's time for the talent show, the one brother can't muster the courage to go out on stage, and Billy Crystal can. And so he becomes the star, and the brother becomes the manager, the handler, the helper, helping him write jokes and everything, because he didn't have the balls to go out on the stage. What is it that gives some people the courage to go out on that stage? Because you're very vulnerable out there, especially when you're doing live. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
You can't start over. We're going to do it over. Yeah, it's live, so you got to keep going. Like live radio, you got to keep. So what is it that gives someone the courage to expose themselves and take that risk? Because embarrassment is a fear that we all have. People will brave danger. People will bungee jump.
Sure.
People will risk
Public
danger.
speaking is like the number one fear of anybody.
Way before they'll risk the embarrassment. So what is it that gives us the balls, Dominic, to go out on that stage? And we have euphemisms in our. That person has a great deal of self-confidence. Isn't that what we say? They have a great deal of self-confidence. That means they're full of themselves. That means they have an ego.
No,
it's a euphemism. I think it's the same thing. You have to be sure of yourself. You have to be sure of yourself to go out there, Dominic. Where do you get the courage?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
For me, it's I get to go out there to do what other people would like to do and don't get a chance to do. That's what it is for me. That's what it's about. I love it when I go out there because.
But how are you not scared?
I'm not because I'm bringing the people. Once I get out there, and I am scared and nervous as a performer. Will I be able to land those marks? Will I be able to convey what I need to? But once I'm out there and I know I have the audience with me, they are part of me, and I bring them in, and I'm giving them something. For some of the people in the audience that don't get a chance, that would love to do what I'm fortunate enough to do, to get out there, and because a lot of people, they get 9-to-5 jobs, they have the family to take care of and whatnot. I get to go out there and create a character and just do what they probably would like to do, and I bring them in on it. And if the audience is with me, and I can sense it the minute I get on that stage and I utter my first lines, and I can sense it.
Yeah.
I pull it in, and then you're with me, and I'm going to take you along for the ride. Since you can't do what I do, you're going to feel what it's like to
Have you ever
do what it is.
Would that be considered you hitting the mark as far as?
Yes, it goes beyond that. Hitting the mark is one thing. It's like an actor thing, having a nice relationship and a rhythm with the other actor. But the audience is something else. There's something special.
Sure.
There's a special moment. And I believe, and at the Abyss, what we do, we break that fourth wall in a lot of our productions because we like to incorporate the audience into the show. So they need to feel that they are part of it. They can feel it. That's the difference for me. For me, that's what I want.
So, it's a lot like Deadpool then.
Yeah,
You didn't watch Deadpool?
I know.
No,
Deadpool.
I have no
I know
clue what that
Deadpool.
is.
Yeah, he breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, he breaks the fourth
Yeah.
wall. Right?
Yeah, well, the Abyss, we break the fourth
All the
wall.
time. They don't even
we
have one.
destroy the fourth wall. We eliminate the fourth wall. We totally disintegrate.
You
the fourth
mentioned
wall.
the connection, the feedback that you get with the audience.
Yes.
Because I've had.
I love that.
And maybe you have too. What do you do when you feel like you're not? Because I've had that, and tell me you haven't either. When like you see, like, man, it's just like, am I being ignored? They're just not.
No. There are moments like
I'm
that.
not connecting. I'm not.
No, you are, but you're connecting in a different way. One audience one night can be one way, and the second night they can be very passive and very calm.
It's like extremity.
So you kind of adjust.
Really?
As an actor, you adjust to what your audience is giving you. If they're a quiet audience and they're not, you shift with that. If they're a boisterous and energetic, then you go with that.
You can't make it about you.
You can't. No,
You
it
have
has
to just
nothing to do
continue-
about
have
you.
to
It's
continue
not
on as that
enhanced.
character, and not worry about the audience.
Well, no. I mean, you have
Because
to.
I think
You
that's
may
power
think
through
it's a narcissistic kind of thing,
The show must
but
go
it is
on.
not.
Right.
I think it's a little narcissistic, but the show must go on. I mean, and I take pride in that, and everybody that I've worked with, we talk about it afterwards. It's like, wow, man, they were just. Were they? And this is in the days before phones. I can't even imagine now. You're out there on stage and you see somebody on their fucking phone?
No, because usually at our shows they have their phones out and they're recording what we're doing.
Well,
okay.
So it's a different thing.
Instead of watching and enjoying,
And that's
they're
okay.
recording.
Well, that's
Listen,
a
that
disattachment, but-
means that they're having such a great time they want to keep it. So I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of theaters that say put your phones away, don't record, don't take pictures. I'm not like that at all. I'm like,
Dave Chappelle,
that's this
he's actually like
generation.
that,
That's
yeah.
what they do, and you have to accept
Yeah.
that that's what they do.
That's
And
that.
our demographic tends to skew younger than most theater demographics.
There was 5 minutes
so
there when they
there's
took
that.
our phones away before going into like concerts and shows and stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't want us recording.
Yeah,
It was
nobody
it
likes
didn't
that.
last a year. It didn't last a year.
They
Like, give me
can't.
my phone.
They can't. We're attached to them now, and
I know.
Well, if I don't know if you heard about it, Dave Chappelle came up with this new thing where you would have to put your phone in this bag, and the bag basically kills your connectivity. So you won't be able to record any of his shows or anything.
Well,
Yeah,
Prince,
and I
Prince
get
did the
that
same
because
thing, or he
Comedians
wasn't
comedians
allowed
are so
to
paranoid
take,
now about it.
any
Right.
kind of that.
All the political correctness. Look what happened to Michael Richards, Kramer.
Right,
He
right.
says one off the
Yeah.
cuff thing, which comedians do all
Rightly
the
so.
time. It got recorded.
You saw that.
and
I don't think that was off the cuff. He was having a.
No,
moment.
he had a moment.
Yeah.
But I'm just
Yeah.
Had a moment.
saying, like,
But within
that's
that
part
scope,
of what's
right.
fed into this whole paranoia about you can't even
Right.
have comedy anymore.
Right, exactly. I mean,
Because
you want to have that space where
You can't have that
especially-
improvised moment.
Right, if you
Because
wanna
say
work
the
out
right
a
thing-
joke-
I don't think that was he was improvising.
No, he wasn't
No,
improvising, but
he had
still
a
He had a-
meltdown.
yeah, he
but
had a
I'm
meltdown.
talking. But other comedians
Just a
have
moment.
had
a similar
other
type of
comedians have
meltdown.
had not meltdowns, but they've had moments where they said something that was very un-PC and it made it out, and it
Now
became
your
a whole big
your
thing. And
career's
you have to have the
torpedoed.
freedom to improv, and if it's offensive, it's offensive.
Right.
you
I was
know.
that made me uncomfortable. I was like, whoa.
It was not right,
It was
but-
not right. Yeah.
but you have
it was
to
there.
feel
It was
like as an artist, you're in a safe place,
A cap came off of something that he had bottled up. I mean, that comes from somewhere. Like, I've had meltdowns in my life, and let me tell you, that's not what came out of me.
Right.
That's not inside of me.
Right.
That kind of
Right.
anger, racial anger is
Not the creative.
It's not inside of
that
me.
you were talking
Right.
to your
But
daughter
if you look
about.
at like Bill Maher, who's a comedian, and he
Sure.
has his
His
political
views,
show,
right?
you know, he wasn't allowed onto a college campus because of his views on the Muslim religion, which, you know what, it's a conversation that needs to be had. You shouldn't, if you're in college, I'm sorry, you should be allowed to see and hear other people's views.
Right.
Whether you agree with them or not. I mean, that's what college is about. We can't always mute the conversation just because we don't agree with it. We have to have the conversation. And I think that's comedy as well, you know, and it's what we do at Abyss. I mean, we do very un-PC things at Abyss.
Well,
Yeah, like what?
to take it back to what George said about the whole narcissism thing. I don't think it's necessarily a narcissistic thing with you or with an artist. It's more or less just you're there for the people. You're there to give the people what they want. So
that's. I mean, to me, when I go out and perform, it's the audience is part of it. They are part of the show, and at the Abyss, that is. It's not the rule, but it's just we want them to be part. To feel it, to experience it. It's more than just I'm here. Excuse me, to watch a show. I want them to be part of the show, to feel with the character, and I like that, you know, because the audience, without them, there's no us,
right?
And that's the thing that's great about
and that's
live.
Not
and
cliche either.
I don't know, you know, because maybe different people have different opinions of narcissism, but does narcissism require another person? A narcissist, you know, the original narcissist fell in love with his own reflection.
It's all about himself.
He was in love with himself, and it was very self-contained.
Yes,
all right,
exactly.
But what, like the ham disease that I describe, at least, and I can only describe what's going on inside of me, and I see the similarities in other people, does require other people. I need an audience. I'm not going to do a trick on a monkey bar to edify myself. I want to wow the crowd. I want to wow the crowd. The charge that I get is out of wowing the crowd. I want to see those looks. I want to see that. And like I did a good thing. I wowed them.
No,
I get that, but I think if you're an artist and if you're an actor, I'm talking about for acting now. If you're an artist, you have to be able to step out of yourself and your ego to create a character, and it can't be about you, because then you're not being true to your character. So, you know, Dominick and I work together a lot at Abyss because he's pretty fearless, and it's not about ego. It's like, what's the best thing for this character? And it doesn't matter what it makes him look like.
But you want to please. Every actor that I know, they read reviews.
No.
And they want to be well. They want to be well, but you want to know that you did a good job. You want to be told no, that you moved people, that they enjoyed. You know,
the thing for me, after we do there's a performance at the Abyss, and then I see the audience, and they were pulled in, and we're part of the characters of that story, and we're feeling it. End of story. That's it.
Did you make them feel?
I want to make them feel and bring them in. What would I do in that situation? Or that's what I would do. That's what I want. But I'm not there to have my ego boosted or anything.
But when you do make them feel, doesn't that?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree that it's a human thing to want to be told that you did a good job. You know, but it's I think it's more about, did you make me feel something? And if somebody tells me as a director or an actor, hey, you really made me feel, you know, I just got a text from a patron the other day that said, by the way, you brought me to tears at the end of that show. That of course that makes me feel
that's
good.
probably a self-gratifying thing we were just talking about.
But you can't create art in a vacuum, and you want people to feel something.
No,
from it.
no, you can't. And by the way, that's a point that I make to artists. So like, are you making your art and then you're not going to show this art to someone? Are you writing a song and that you're not going to play for anyone? Making a painting that you're not going to show, or do you want to show this painting to people and see the expression on their face? To see if it moved them.
You want to affect them in some way, and so if you know that you affected them.
In my personal case, because certainly we're all individuals, but you know, and I'm feeling like maybe, and I know that I did in my childhood, I didn't get the approval that a child ought to get from their parental figures, you know, and maybe that's why I sought it in my peers. by doing tricks and telling jokes and doing shows, and I felt emotionally rewarded when I did it successfully. Not so Dominick.
No.
But that's what I mean. I think that's a huge generalization, because I know a lot of actors and artists that had a completely normal upbringing that still seek, some kind of artistic outlet. So it's not
a connection.
Read the
with
reviews.
You want to.
Yeah.
You want to. I think you do look for a connection with your audience.
I do.
And,
You
and
have
when,
to.
when you have a good show, and organically it can change depending on one night or another.
Right.
Yes.
That's what
That's what I
creates
feed
it
off
for
of,
you.
and every night is different from the night before. I just, as long as the audience takes something from it and feels from it, I've done my job. I'm not there to get my ego boosted and feel I did a great job and conveyed a message, but I was able to have them react and feel to what was going on in that moment, and then from there, what they take from it, I've done my job.
But,
I'm not there.
But that makes you feel good, though.
It
that
does, because I have
connection.
it's not that it was the goal I was going for, but when I hear it, I'm like, great.
I
I've
think-
never
I
got
think
from it.
because
But I love
artists-
to hear what the audience has to say from different shows.
No matter what kind of artist you are, I don't feel like you always have a drive to create something.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I've always said
if
that.
I had a
It's gonna
regular
come out. The art is
9 to
gonna-
5 day
yeah.
job and I wasn't creating, I would go freaking crazy. I
Sure.
couldn't do it. I think we
agree.
all have that drive to create, and if you have an
disease that I'm
audience
talking about.
for
I
your
tell people-
creation,
I
that's
would-
amazing. But I know writers who write
Right.
all the time, and they're amazing writers. They're not published. They don't have an audience always writing to them on Amazon saying, "Hey, great book." But it doesn't matter because you have the compulsion to do it.
It's the outlet.
And it's not about your audience all the time. It's about just doing it.
you need the
and,
outlet.
And there are people who are wonderful at what they do, and they never get discovered. And it's okay.
I've
They
seen
still
it
do
happen
it.
in radio for
As
years.
long as
Really
they do
wonderful
it.
people, and they never get discovered. But the artists that I know, the actors that I know, they read the reviews. If it's an art show and they're talking to the patrons and everything, it's obvious to me that it's not just about the money. That the reviews, when they're reading the reviews, and if they get a good review, how happy they are, and a negative review, how sad they are. That it's not about the money that they're going to make. Is that it's they want to feel like they did a good job. They want to feel like they were.
Because
that
it's
they're-
funny
that
you
they're a
say
good
this,
artist.
because since I've opened Abyss, I've very purposely not invited critics to our shows because I feel like that can be very toxic. There are some shows that we do
Yeah.
we do invite, like we did Bug, and that was in partnership with the
Okay.
same partner we're doing now with Rocky.
I saw the movie. I
That's-
wish I would have seen
that's-
that. That was
Our
awesome.
production was amazing.
The
I have to
production
say,
was better than
our
the
whole
movie.
team was so
Was
great.
nudity in that?
But I'm just saying, for something like that,
we were.
for something like that, we do invite critics, but generally we don't, because I don't feel like. I mean, for that it drives audience, so we have
Right.
to do it to drive audience.
Right.
It's not about. I don't care what you have to say, because we're creating art,
Sure.
and we have an audience for our art. And if
And
you
if
want
they
to
come back for the
and
next
I
show.
understand that critics have a job, and that's part
Yeah.
of their job is to be critical.
I hate them, even though I can't.
Yeah.
You know, my show.
Yeah.
I do movie critiques. I critique
Sure.
and everything all the time. But
It's a symbiotic
Critics,
relationship.
it's like-
Right,
It's not
exactly.
that.
When
I
you
always
can't
feel-
do, you criticize.
I always feel like, yeah, exactly. Well, I
But
always
I
feel
don't
like,
have
like
any
the critics,
kind of animosity towards critics. They're doing their job.
Right.
art is subjective, but art is subjective. So I really don't care what they got out of it, because
Right.
that's
No.
them.
It's
That's
their
them.
opinion.
My job,
Everybody's
our
opinion.
job is for
Right.
the people that come in to see the show and experience it. That's it.
To me, as a
The-
producer, is my email list growing? Are people sending me messages? Are people
Right.
buying more tickets?
Right.
That means we're doing our job, because
No,
there are
you-
people
you-
who want to see what we're doing.
You're going to go that extra mile. I mean, it's art, and to have someone comment on it, and you're going to just out of human nature, you're just going to be
Yeah.
like, okay, what they say. What? How did they feel about my
And
presentation?
we listen to it and we read it and we say, okay, you just have to detach yourself from that
Right,
stuff. and
right,
go,
exactly.
Okay, and hey, it's all fair. It's all
Right.
fair game. We invited you to write about it, so
Right.
you write about it, and that's
Right.
how it goes. And with Rocky, not everybody's going to love it, and
Right.
we have critics coming.
How long have you had the theater thing going?
Well, when we did Theater of Vampires, that was our very first show there.
Really? Is that Rick? Rick,
Yeah.
I still have his bass
You
stand
broke
over here.
Cherry.
Is he in Ireland? Is he in Ireland
No,
now?
he's back now. He lives up in like
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Oh yeah, somewhere like that. I'm
He's
so
way up there.
sad that since he's gone, but I want to thank
He
him
wears
for
women's dresses.
Does he? Really? Melbourne?
No, he-
That's what I was
The
told.
spirit
But
of
that-
Rocky.
don't listen to me.
Dominic. Dominic's been drinking.
He's a
The spirit
Republican.
of
and Everybody
Rocky.
knows that they don't do anything gay.
He wears
At all,
women's
ever.
dresses. That's what I was told.
The spirit of Rocky
that.
lives
A
on.
muumuu?
Not a muumuu. No, they're like a mini skirt and a I don't know.
It's a good.
You know what? I don't judge.
Rick-
I'm playing Frankie. I don't
Rick's
judge.
sense of humor is second to none. It's a great thing. We love
sorry.
Rick, and I really love him for introducing him
We're gonna edit that
to,
out, right?
to you guys. But I didn't know.
No, keep
that's-
it in because
that's when
it's
you first-
true.
That's
I'm
when you
sorry,
first got
the
to
spirit
space.
of Frankie.
Yes.
No,
lives on.
this is interesting to me. So Theater of Vampires was the first time that you got that space.
That was the first show we did. I got the space in December. We did a very short run of a show.
Were you doing this kind of thing in other places before that?
Yeah. So Dominic, I mean, you did our early shows with us. This is when we rented a venue
An empire.
at Empire Stage, but we were Infinite Abyss since 2010.
Okay.
And we did a lot of shows and very critically acclaimed shows. I had a partner in that business as well who was the artistic director.
Pillow Man.
We did really great shows, but once my partner left, he took a job traveling, touring with another show.
Minus.
You know, I kind of shuttered it because I couldn't do it by myself at that moment. So I relaunched right in time for Theater of Vampires.
Okay.
Like 2014, December 2014, and then we did Theater of Vampires like
And-
March.
Well, Seance was kind of like an
Seance
introduction.
was without
Yeah.
the venue. So
Right.
then I opened the venue knowing that it was going to be
Because-
hard,
yeah.
but
Do
I
you-
wanted my own venue.
Do you feel like you got some like momentum now that you're relatively established and
we're getting
you know,
there. I mean, we're getting there. That whole
and
first
it's tough, 'cause
year,
it's very
Dominic
similar.
did
Your
every
thing,
show with me,
your
by
thing
the
very
way.
similar to the thing Self-Flow Radio. It's a different kind of thing, but you know,
Very different, dark horror
homegrown,
theater.
but
You know, we have
you're
our own
already-
niche, but you know, it was a year.
you're in a
of,
good spot.
Original pieces.
A year of original
You,
pieces.
you see yourself
horror
expanding.
pieces.
And stuff
Eventually,
like
I mean, yeah.
I'd love for you to take over Cinema Paradiso here in Hollywood.
Here's my thing.
Yes, please.
Here's my
Because
thing.
It's still rolling, yes?
Yeah,
Yes,
but
still
it's
going.
like
No, no,
nothing
no. Okay,
ever
let me tell you
fun
what my thing
there.
is.
Yeah,
I
what's your
really,
thing?
really love
Tell me about your thing.
site-specific theater, which
Okay.
means you take your show to, let's say, if it's a scary show and it's about an insane asylum,
All right.
you do it at an old closed-down
I get
hospital
it.
and bring
Okay.
people there.
Ooh.
And make it really
Ooh.
immersive for people.
Yeah.
I love
Okay.
that. But I knew I needed a venue first to be able to build an audience in one location, and then we can expand
Right.
into site-specific theater from there. There's an amazing show in New York City called Sleep No More. I don't know if anybody's heard of that, but that is the most amazingly immersive, and it's a modern version of Macbeth.
Okay.
But they
Okay.
they started in London, did an amazing job in London, got huge investment, moved it to New York, got like millions and millions of dollars of investment, bought up a whole block in New York City, bought all these warehouses, converted them into a fake hotel, 100,000 square feet of space, and audience roams freely from room to room and just find different pieces of this show, and you piece it together like a puzzle. And they have so many and so many hours of work into this that you could never see the whole show in one walk, and that's a 5-hour experience. By
It's
the
real
way.
innovative.
Very innovative, and I am so inspired by something like that. So
I like that.
is
So you
really-
think
And is that
you're gonna
putting
be-
together the whole show, like little pieces in?
It is, yeah, and the actors can interact with the guests too. The guests can't speak at all.
Okay.
You cannot speak. You can't even speak to each other. But you walk through and you find different actors, and they're experts at herding people, meaning herding them into different
Not
spaces. So you have
hurting
free
them
roam
with
of the
pain?
place.
Hurting them
I'm
with pain?
wondering if the concept of
HERDING.
the concept in Miami where they did the like small theater, which was like containers,
micro theater.
the micro
The
theater.
micro theater,
That's
yeah.
the same concept.
No, totally
No?
different.
Oh,
Because they're
totally
just
different?
doing, like, what I'm talking about is you're immersing into a space. So if the play takes place in an insane asylum, you go get an insane asylum
Okay,
and you put people
gotcha.
in that
That's-
space.
yeah.
And that's your show is built around that space.
That
Go
sounds
get
awesome.
Go get a gothic mansion
So you
and do
think
an amazing ghost story.
You're going to
in there.
be like doing that.
That's
You wanna-
my goal. Yeah, I would
That's-
love to do that.
That's a great idea.
I love that
Like
stuff.
outdoor stuff. and-
Outdoor, bring us to different places. I mean, and that's
I
what
have a
I'm working
gnarly
on.
parking lot where I live.
Great.
Big parking lot, gravel.
Great. Yeah. We did a site specific show at a dance center, which was so much fun. We wrote the show around the space, and it was a big, for us it was big, like 5,000 square feet. And we did a show called Seance, and everybody started in one main room. We did a seance, and the medium in the seance, I mean, people were leaving. They were so scared. It looked like a real seance.
Yeah.
And the medium got possessed and raised all these spirits, and then demons broke people into groups and took them into different rooms, and they saw the ghosts that were raised, and we did like 10 to 15 minute scenes in every room, but specific to that specific room. So like the ghost that happened in that room died in that room, so they got to see the scene where that happened in that room. Like
that's awesome.
It
that
was
sounds
fun.
great.
And
that sounds
that's
awesome.
The kind of stuff I love to do.
I wish that my schedule permitted it. I work and I can't. I don't want to change anything about my life right now because the whole thing, not to get all corny, with the child is because my daughter up to the age of 5, she, and you have children. What's more heartbreaking for a parent if you have a child that doesn't seem to be able to be happy? Because my daughter went from having a meltdown, or to not having it. She had 2 states. There were 2 states, or 3, I guess. Sleep, having a meltdown, not having a meltdown.
Wow.
So the kind of happiness that you're used to, laughter, mirth, guffawing, enjoying life, thing that you normally witness your child did, like I wasn't seeing that in this child, and it was like the most everything
devastating.
It's devastating, and everything else that was going on, like the loss of the career and the horrible acts and the marriage. It's just devastating. And the older daughter is just like great, and the younger daughter like not. No matter what you could do, it's like all we could do to have her not freak out. Like that was as the most we could hope for. And then she discovered roller skating. Quite accidentally, among other things. There were other things that happened, but the whole thing is that at the roller rink, she's a completely different person, and it happened, and it's even affected her in other areas of her life. But there were certain things. Her friend and mentor, Anna, shout out to Anna, who taught her, because autistic kids, they mimic a lot, they copy. So she started copying this other little girl who was perfect in every way. That's actually how we got her to skate for the first time, and then. Sign language, bridged the gap. The ex and I learned sign language, and so she was speaking and signing simultaneously. And then when she decided that she liked skating, that's all she wanted to do, because she either wants to skate or be left alone with her electronics, and that's not exercise. You're a parent. If your kid is addicted to electronics, that's bad. But you can talk to your kid. You can reason with them. You can explain why this is not something that you do all the time, like I did with my older daughter. But your younger daughter, there's no reasoning with them. They're a force of nature. But she'll drop the Wii remote if you say skate. She'll drop the Wii remote. So it's it has to for me to change that, even on once in a while basis. We're not going to go skating on this day. It takes me I have to announce it a week ahead of time, arrange for a makeup session. Yeah. And negotiate that. So I wouldn't change that for the world, because she's so happy there. She's happy when I pick her up before we go there, knowing that we're going to the rink. She's so happy. All that, the joy, the elation, and then when we get there, the joy and the elation, and she's happy, and there's a whole thing, and she's and there at the rink, she's outgoing.
It's amazing.
She talks to people. And I feel like I won the lottery. I feel like I won the fucking lottery. There's no question about it, because the thing that I worried about the most is gone. And it's not just that she's happy. The staff and the regulars treat her like she's the mascot of the rink. Everybody's cool with her. Everybody understands her. She's very eccentric, and everybody's cool with her, and it's great. So
she gave my son a high five.
Yeah. So I can't compromise that. Nobody else.
No.
Who else? I could have somebody else take her maybe once in a while or something, but I can't dedicate the time. That's why I don't coach roller derby. The roller derby girls be a coach, be a referee, be a something. It's meet 4 or 5 times a week.
You've
I can't
absolutely
do that.
sacrificed.
And your kids are wonderful, and you bring them, but they're cool. They're normal. My daughter would freak out if I brought her. She why aren't we skating? Why aren't we skating right now? Why aren't we at the roller rink? Yeah. And I don't have a good answer for her, and she knows that I like it. I can't disguise that.
Right.
I didn't think that. I went 20 years without skating. I didn't think I'd ever put on another pair of skates again. Yeah. But she decided that she liked it, and I'm like, okay, it looks like I'm back here now. Let me go buy a cheap pair of skates, and I'm back at the roller rink. But I miss it though. I do miss the hamming for my own reasons. I appreciate Dominick's reasons, but mine, I loved it. Like when Renfield and everybody, like, thank you so much for the compliments and the praise, but I loved it. I'll chew the scenery out of any play that you stick me in. When they dressed me up like Frankenfurter for the first time, and the first time that I went, they didn't dress me up like Frankenfurter. I was the Virgin. I didn't dress up like anything. I just wore all black. I don't think we're gonna draw. We're not gonna draw on you. No,
we almost did the red V on your forehead.
Really?
That's tradition.
That's
tradition.
But we'll sing and dance for you. But they just gothed me out the first time that they took me. We're all black and maybe look like Robert Smith from The Cure.
Nice.
Gothed me out a little bit. And of course I was so like astonished. And the second time we went, and everybody was dressing up. I'm like, I want to be Frankenfurter. Fucking
Frankenfurter's great, though.
Frankenfurter,
it's a lot of fun.
And as soon as they dressed me up like Frankenfurter, they say, "How do you feel?" And I busted out into
very freeing,
like no fear. Like I busted out into it like I had done it 20 times. Like how'd you do it? Like bam! Like I was shot out of a cannon.
I see you met my.
And it was awesome. We're gonna do a montage. That's what I decided that we're gonna do a medley. We're gonna do a spontaneous.
It is
medley.
very freeing. I mean, Frankenfurter is a very freeing.
Fucking like I just like stepped into it like
every man should do it. I think that would be every man should do it.
It's not effeminate. It's,
because
it's
its own.
To me,
entity.
it's right. Exactly. It's neither male, female, nor neuter or a fusion. It's Frank.
Right.
It's Frankenfurter. He's a character. He's a force of nature. He's an alien.
He's an alien.
He's an alien from another planet. That's right.
Yeah.
And the movie, back to the movie. Going back to what my Sunday school teacher said, who is absolutely right. The songs, the lyrics, now that
and secretly gay
that we've sung them over and over again. Who's secretly gay?
I love his look.
Your Sunday school teacher.
Sunday school teacher.
Who was so obsessed with telling you about gay men.
I have to wonder, Bootsy.
Right
Bootsy. Say,
yeah, baby.
Say, dig it. Anyway, the lyrics of every song are either foreshadowing or explaining to the audience what's going on in the movie. And it only wasn't about the 20th time that I sang the lyrics after seeing the movie, and I was like, oh, I see. The songs kind of go at the movie. they explain what's going on. It's a narrative. The songs are kind of a play-by-play of what's going on. It catches the audience up, which is part of the masterpiece of it. I've seen movies. I've seen musicals. Nothing is quite like this. No musical that I've ever seen uses music the way that this does. This is a truly unique
can I
thing.
ask you,
Yes,
because I don't know if anybody else knows this.
All right.
Superheroes. What is that song based on? Do you know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, of course. What is it based on?
Yeah. What is that music?
The music sounds like the Hulk walking away music.
Exactly.
At the end.
That is what it is.
Really?
It's exactly what it is.
That's
exactly what it is.
Am I in the club?
You are, and it's amazing. I mean, I never made that connection.
They actually use that same example. The end music of the Hulk.
If you pull up Bill Bixby's "Walking Away" at the end,
do
it's
it.
the same exact music.
Just Google Hulk walking away music. I might even have it in my library.
Hulk ending credits or something like that.
Hulk walking away
Bill
music.
Bixby.
They made fun of it on Family Guy. And everything, sure.
I mean,
that was a good series, though.
And that's one thing that even in the professional productions of Rocky that are live, I don't see those connections being made.
Fire it up now. No delay. Play the audio.
Hey, Bill Bixby.
This is the one I pulled up too. This is the same one.
It's the first one that came up.
There it is.
Play it loud. Yeah. It is. It was a formula. I hated all these formula series. Let's see. Bill Bixby goes to a town. There's a problem. He tries to fix it by being Bill Bixby. Fails. He has to turn into the Hulk, fixes the problem, but then he's got to leave. And then they play the music.
What do you think?
And he goes to another town.
All these crime procedurals are the same way now. I mean, everything has to be based on a formula to get people to watch
this. It wasn't until the Avengers movie that we actually got to see Hulk be Hulk. So now where we're playing music.
Series was he in?
So let's see how good Jak is at pulling this off. Open up Media Monkey and like fire off some Rocky.
Courtship of Eddie's father.
Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
I saw
Really?
it. Yes.
Oh, God.
By the way, you could be kind of a Bill Bixby kind of character in the courtship of the courtship of Eddie's father era. You know, when he was younger. Fire off from the top. Fire off some music and see if we can do a spontaneous sing along. Towards the end of the show, but save that time warp karaoke for last, and just so you know that I'm handicapped because Dominick got to go up and go to the bathroom, but I didn't.
Okay, well that'll just
like
add to your
It's a
energy.
killer.
Use it.
Little,
Use it,
I
George.
do.
Use that pressure.
You would have loved it.
Use that pressure because there's a lot of it.
Just do fire off a song, Jak. Fire off a song from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and we'll see if we can sing along to it. You're not. Don't do time warp. Remember Eddie?
Oh no, you have to understand that
What
our
song?
guy.
What's your favorite? Turn this off.
Well,
'Cause I have a personal favorite
I have
to do
to say,
with.
our
Go.
Eddie is so amazing. This song is probably my
What's his
favorite
name?
now. Eitan DeRay, and he is so talented.
Magnificent. He's
Oh,
magnificent.
you guys have to. Sing
I have
it.
a favorite.
Rocky is
I'm having Jak
magnificent.
play the favorite that I used
I
to.
don't have a favorite yet,
I used to
but
sing
I
along
love
with this,
our
and the
Eddie.
Australian exchange student who's coming to visit me. We broke into this spontaneously. Turn it up loud.
Couldn't win.
Like going home.
Do you remember this?
I can't hear it.
Like going home.
I'd only ever kissed before. You mean she's?
Uh-huh.
I thought there's no use getting into heavy petting.
You gotta act it out.
It only leads to trouble and
Say it.
seat wetting.
My seat's wet.
Now all I want to know.
This is gonna get really dirty on stage.
Do
By
it,
the
do
way,
it, do
this
it.
gets really dirty.
Come shot.
More.
I'll put up no resistance. I want to stay the distance. I've got an itch to scratch. I need assistance. Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch me. I wanna be dirty. Thrill me, chill me, fulfill me. Creature of the night.
Wait till you see our Rocky. He's
I can't wait.
gorgeous.
Then if anything grows, while you pose, I'll oil you up and drop you down. And that's just one small fraction of the main attraction. You need a friendly hand. I need action. Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch me. I wanna be dirty. Really show me, fulfill me. Creature of the night. Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch me.
I want to be dirty.
That's gonna get really raunchy at the end.
Come shot.
I don't know who you think it's gonna be.
This is what Rosie told me.
He's selling tickets.
Yeah, I'm telling you what I
No,
saw.
that's what we're trying. Oh yeah. Come on, Dominic.
My,
This
what?
is
Fire it off.
Dominic.
Fire it
What
off.
am I doing?
Loud.
You
Fire it
know what
off.
this is. You know what
As
this
a ramrod?
Fire it. Sweet
Monday night?
transvestite.
My second
Do
ramrod.
it.
is. Yeah, exactly.
Fire it.
Is that what it is?
Loud. Loud.
How'd you do, See you met my faithful hand in hand. He's just a little brought down because when you knocked, he
Thought you were the candy man.
Don't get strung up by the way I look. Don't judge a book by its cover. I'm not much of a man by the light of day, but by night I'm one hell of a lover.
I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. Let me show you around and maybe play with sound. Maybe
you're both pretty groovy.
pretty groovy.
Or
Or if you want something visual that's not too abysmal, maybe we can take in an old Steve Reeves movie. I'm glad we caught you at home. Could we use your phone? We're both in a bit of a hurry.
Right.
We'll just say where we are and then go back to the car. We don't want to be any worry.
Well, you got caught with a flat world. How about that? Well, bitches, don't you panic. By light of the night, it'll all seem alright. I'll get you a satanic mechanic. I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. Why don't you
stay for the night?
Height.
Or maybe a bite.
Height.
I could show you my favorite obsession. I've been making a man
with black
with blonde hair and a tan, and he's
so good for relieving my tension.
I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
Hit it! I'm just a sweet transvestite. Sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. So,
come up to the lab and see what's on the slab. I see you shiver with anticipation.
Wait for it. Go ahead and say it.
But maybe the rain
isn't really to blame. So I'll remove the cause. But not the tension.
Woo!
Hit it.
Yeah.
You like it? And then we're gonna end with Street Transvestite. We're gonna do everything. This is very spontaneous. Yeah. Can you do Columbia? Okay.
Not as good as Ireland.
We're just gonna.
Ireland is doing
We're winging this. This is live radio. We're gonna. Yes, you do.
It was great when it all began. I was a regular Frankie fan, but it was over when he had the plan to start working on a muscle man. Now the only thing that gives me hope is my love of a certain dope. Roast is my world, keeps me safe from the trouble and pain. Rocky?
I'm just 7 hours old, truly beautiful to behold.
Yes, you are.
And somebody should be told my libido hasn't been controlled. Now the only thing that gives me I forgot it.
Is my orgasmic rush of lust.
I literally forgot you too.
Rose in my world. Good thing I'm not getting paid.
Okay, now you gotta do Brad. You gotta do Brad.
It's beyond me. Help me, mommy. I'll be good. You'll see. Take this pain away. What's this?
Lift up a leg, lift up a leg.
I feel sad. What's come over me? Woo! Here it comes again.
I feel released. Bad times are deceased. All my confidence has increased. Reality is here. The game has been disbanded. My mind has been expanded. It's a gas that Frankie's landed. His lust is so sincere.
Oh, now we get the ballad.
Yeah. We don't have to wait. We could go right into the time.
Well, I think Frankie wants his part.
Yeah, I think we should have Frankie's part.
This is his big entrance.
Is it? With the new outfit. Gonna do costume changes. A lot of costume changes.
And by the way, we filmed a pool scene, a pool orgy for this.
Oh, you film? Oh my.
Pump shots of
Oh God, come on.
Oh my God!
Why you gotta give it away, Dominic?
I wish I was there for the moment.
I'll show you a picture.
Go ahead. Wait, we gotta do the backups.
Whatever happened to Fay Ray?
She got fucked by a 40-foot ape.
And that delicate satin drape frame as it clung to her thigh. How I started to cry. For I wanted to be dressed just the same. Give yourself over to absolute pleasure. Swim the warm waters of sins of the flesh.
Sunday school teacher hated this part.
Erotic nightmares beyond any measures. And sensual daydreams to treasure forever. Can't you just see it? Oh, don't dream it, be it. Be it. Don't dream it, 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 be it.
Where did it start?
I don't know. Just say it.
I don't know if it comes up.
Just say
Got
it.
to get out of this.
It takes a while.
Yeah. There he is.
There he is.
To get
Out.
out.
By the way, our Dr. Scott, he is. Greg Ward is
I'm so
He's a beast.
so cool. Wait till you hear him sing.
Heavy metal and some the metal god.
I've got to be strong. And try to.
Do you want a time warp or rose tint?
No. We have to dance to Time
Okay.
Warp. We got it.
Are
Are we
Time
doing
warp, all right.
rose tint or?
We
Or
just
go to
did
regular
Rose
time
Tint.
warp?
We just did that.
I don't
That's what we just did.
Really?
It
Time warp.
was
Do it.
great
Fire.
when
Time
it
warp.
all began.
All right, we're gonna dance. Dance. Hit it.
Who's doing riff raff?
It's a down.
Song. I'm not part of it.
Oh wait, no. Play the one with the lyrics. Play the one with the lyrics. Sorry, we're editing.
Hold on, I mean, it's just my
Not the
knee.
remix.
Oh God! On camera.
Okay, I'm ready.
No shame. No shame.
Down.
Just gonna whip it out in a minute.
Is this it? There it is. Time is fleeting. Madness
Frank doesn't have a part in
takes
this.
its toll.
I don't.
You have to
You
dance.
just sing along. Listen closer.
Not for very much longer.
I'll keep control. This is the remix, by the way.
I remember doing the time warp. Kick. Drinking those moments when the darkness would hit me
And the voice would be calling.
Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again.
It's just a jump
to the left.
It's just a jump to the left.
And step to the right. Put your hands on your hips. Your baby's in tight. It's a pelvic drive. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. It's a dream.
Oh, fantasy dreaming. So you don't see me.
Foreshadowing.
No, not at all. In another dimension, with voyeuristic intention, well secluded, I see all.
With a bit of mind flip.
You're into the time slip.
And nothing can ever be the same.
You're spaced out on sensation.
Like you're on the station.
Let's do the time warp. Let's do the time warp again.
Well, I was walking down the street just to have a thing. When I was thinking of a guy gave me an emo wing. He shook me up, he took me by surprise. He had a pickup truck in the devil's eyes. He stared at me and I felt the change. Time ain't nothing, never will I again.
Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again.
And then a step to the right.
Put your hands on your hips.
And then your knees in time. But it's a pelvic thrust. It really drives you insane.
Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again.
Do you do this? Do this to the show?
We don't have a tap dance break.
No. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming here. Thank you for having us. Abyss Theater, what's the address?
2304 North Dixie Highway, Wilton Manors.
May 12th through the 28th.
www.infiniteabyss.org. Infinite-abyss.org.
Infinite-abyss.org. Bring your old lube. Thank you, Dominick.
Or we'll give it to you.
Thank you, Erynn. My pleasure.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you, Jack. Bye, everybody.
Robert,
Bye.
All right, I need to go see this.
I mean, I tell you, is that...
Streaming live from the beautiful city of Hollywood, Florida, USA. This is SoFloRadio.com.
SoFloRadio.com and SoFloTelevision.com.